Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone live on this Friday evening. I hope you all have a good weekend. So, tonight we are discussing two classic Doctor Who episodes from two different doctors, and obviously you can see them behind me there, but if you can't, we're going to be discussing Pyramids of Mars, and we're going to be discussing Inferno. Two different episodes, two different stories, I should say. So it'll be interesting to hear what people have to say about them. We're going to be doing this for a while because I want to do something a little bit different. But so I've received messages off a few people to say that they haven't had a chance to actually look at episodes. It doesn't matter if you haven't watched them recently. Obviously, if you have seen them before and you want to come on and tell us what you thought of them. Obviously, if there's anything you think they could have improved on, stuff like that. Basically little reviews of classic episodes, and we're going to get you guys involved as well. We'll be taking the calls as usual, but we will be talking Classic Who. Now, earlier today I did a video, so I'll just touch on it real quickly. As I said, I will still be breaking Series 12 news. It's just, there's no point talking about Series 11 any further because we've said everything that needs to be said about Series 11. So I'm not going to entertain any chat on Series 11. Cheryl has put some rules up. If you haven't seen them, go into the comments and have a look at them, please. What you call it? Also, what else was I going to say? Yeah, as I said, I will still do the videos breaking the news or whatever information that I get. But other than that, I won't be discussing Series 11 any further. I will, of course, when Series 12 starts airing, I will be doing the reviews like I've said. I'll be doing everything that I said I'm going to be doing, but there's no point in discussing Series 11 anymore, or Jodie Whittaker or Chris Chibnall, because we've said everything that we've had to say. So for the next couple of weeks, we're going to try this out, Classic Who, and we're going to every couple of nights, every stream that we do, we're going to review two episodes. Obviously, I'll read out a bit of information about each episode and stuff like that, and then we will have your calls. Now, one more last thing to say. Any trolls come in, they have to be deleted straight away. I don't want to know about anything. I don't want to be told that there's people, you just get rid of them, okay? Because I'm not entertaining and I don't want to hear what anybody is saying about me anymore. I just want to do what I do and let's start bringing a positive environment back to this channel. So this is why I've decided to do the classic stuff for a while. Try get a bit of positivity going there and see how we get on. So I think now I've said everything that I need to say on that. So we'll get straight into it. So we'll start off, obviously, with the Pyramids of Mars. So the Pyramids of Mars was the third serial of the 13th season of the British science fiction television series Doctor Who, which was first broadcast in 4 weekly parts on BBC from the 25th of October to the 15th of November 1975. Now, of course, Tom Baker was the Doctor and the companion was Elizabeth Slade and obviously Sarah Jane Smith. So, for anybody that doesn't know anything about the plot, I will just give you a brief overview. So the serial is set in England and Egypt on Mars in 1911. In the serial, the brutal chamber of the alien Zootek, Gabriel Wolf. The inspiration for the Egyptian god set is unearthed by the archaeology professor Marcus Scarman. A live but immobilized Zutec seeks his freedom by using Professor Scarman and his servants to destroy the jewel on the pyramid of Mars, which is keeping him prisoner.
He stepped on his ball.
Do us a favor and take them off him because they're causing too much damage.
Yep.
So, what was the reception like? So, I'll give you a brief. So, it says here, the story was edited and condensed into a single 1-hour omnibus episode broadcast on BBC One at 5:50 p.m. on the 27th of November 1976, reaching 13.7 million viewers. Yes, you heard right. 13.7 million viewers. The highest audience achieved by Doctor Who in its entire history to date. The figure was not bettered until the broadcast of City of Death in 1979. BBC Two broadcast the 4 episodes on consecutive Sundays from the 6th to the 24th of March 1994 at noon, reaching 1.1 million viewers respectively. Blech. So that's just a little bit of a take on the pyramids of Mars. So I'll give you a little rundown, obviously, of Inferno. Now, obviously, before the end of the stream, I'll give you another 2 classic stories. And you will have, obviously, it's Friday now, so Sunday night then. So you will have a day and a half to get a chance to watch these 2 stories that I put up. So I know this is kind of, tonight's one is like, I just threw it on you, but hopefully Sunday then we'll be able to get this a little bit refined. Right. Let's do a little bit of Inferno. I love this story, by the way. So, Inferno was the 4th and final serial of the 7th season of the British science fiction television series Doctor Who, which was first broadcast in 7 weekly parts on BBC from May 9th to June 20th, 1970. The serial remains the last time a Doctor Who story was transmitted in 7 episodes. This serial was also the last regular appearance of Caroline John in the role of Liz Shaw. And of course, as you've just heard there, Caroline John plays Liz Shaw. John Pertwee was the Doctor for this story, featuring the likes of the Brigadier and people like that. So just a brief rundown on the episode, the story and what it's about. In the serial, the alien time traveler, the 3rd Doctor, transports himself sideways in time to a parallel world where an English drilling project causes catastrophic amounts of heat and force to be unleashed when it penetrates the Earth's crust. Now, I will just read. Where was it? That's the wrong one. I've went into the wrong link there. Just give us a second, my friends. So in 2009, Mark Braxton of the Radio Times praised the intense atmosphere with a good, scary, cautionary plot. However, he noted that the primords were not the best physical design and their relationship to the events were not cleared up. Reviewing the special edition DVD release, Dave Golder of SFX gave the serial 4 out of 5 stars. He wrote the alternative universe plot that was mistakenly cited as being added to stretch out the story was the best thing about it. And the actual plot felt a little B-movie in comparison, but remains a stylish and action-packed slice of Pertwee Who. DVD Talks Ian Jane rated Inferno 3.5 out of 5 stars, praising the cast and decent production values. Jane noted that the story had a slow beginning, but once the pace picked up, it became choice entertainment. Uh, and the Daily Telegraph in 2008 named Inferno as one of the 10 best Doctor Who episodes ever. Charlie Jane Anders of IO9 listed the cliffhanger of the 6th episode as one of Doctor Who's greatest cliffhangers in 2010 article. Den of Geek listed the serial as a good example of sound design and music score. The serial was judged by a 2009 Doctor Who magazine fan poll to be the finest story of the Third Doctor's era and 31st in the series overall out of 200 stories total. A similar poll taken in 2014 ranks Inferno as the 18th greatest story of all time. So again, I will ask, do you actually agree with those opinions as well? Obviously, I've read out a few opinions, but they're the two stories that we're actually going to talk about tonight. Right, let's get straight into the shout outs. Please do me a favor, if you like what you're hearing so far, please hit that like button. Please make sure that you've hit the notification bell. And if you are already subscribed, please make sure that you're still subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And where's Teddy?
In his house.
Oh, Teddy is in his house. Oh, Teddy is not. Right. So we'll do what we do. Oh, I just want to give a shout out to Daniel. Daniel won't be joining us tonight. He's exhausted from all the excitement of the Europa League match. But I also want to give a shout out to the Celtic fans also that were actually stabbed while they were over there. It's absolutely disgraceful. Italian fans are probably one of the worst fans out there. It used to be the British football fans, but the Italian fans take it. Every time an English team goes over anywhere near Italy, there's always some fan stabbed or there's something going on. It's absolutely ridiculous. So to those Celtic fans that are alive, get well soon. And Daniel, we will talk to you very, very soon. Right, so we've got Unknown 289, we've got Charlotte here, we've got Amy, we've got Renee, we've got the wife. Hello, wife. And we've got a long list of Cheryl rules there, so I'll just skip them. We've got Rocket Runner, Stephen Cassidy. Who else have we got? We've got Gary here as well. Welcome, Gary. Rocket Runners here. Welcome. Peter Davison, welcome. Who else have we got? We've got Charlotte here as well. Welcome. I don't know if I actually mentioned your name, but I'll go on blank here. Michelle is here as well. Where else? Where else have we got? What else have we got? We've got Yvette Leland is here as well. Welcome. Care for a Jelly Baby is here. Oh, I didn't stutter that time saying it. Woohoo! Derek McManus is here as well. Welcome. Mark is here. Welcome. And Super John, welcome. And hello. So yeah, as I said, Classic Who tonight. So anybody wants to ring in tonight, please do me a favor right now. Send me a message on Messenger and I will put you all down and we'll try get as many calls as we can. And also, I just want to add that when the phone calls are finished, the stream will be finishing. There's no point in me staying on and rambling on for ever after I've taken all the calls. So the more calls I get, the longer the stream is going to be. So if you want to call in tonight, talk about Inferno, talk about Pyramids of Mars, talk about Pertwee's Doctor, Tom Baker's the Doctor, I don't mind send me a message now, because as soon as I get all the names, that's it, and then we will be done after that. There's no point in me saying we're going to do a 3-hour stream. If it ends up being 3 hours, it ends up being 3 hours, but that's the way I'm going to do it from now on, because there's no point in me hanging on and rambling on after like I'm actually doing right now. Yeah. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Right. Right, so I can see I'm already getting a few messages through. So I'll just get a pen. I had got one earlier. I don't know why I don't actually organize a pen before I actually even start. Hold on, I have one. A pen, and now a piece of paper. Right, we have it. We got Blue Bonahuvian here as well. Welcome, Blue Bonahuvian, and Dan. Welcome, my friend. Right, so we got. Right, I'll give you a thumbs up to let you know that I've received your message. I've got another. This is great. We're getting some good. I will give you a thumbs up to let you know that I've got your message. And wow. Right, so far I've only got 3 names. So 3 calls, 15 minutes each. That's like 45-minute stream. So if you want to call in, seriously. And I know it's going to take a bit of adjustment time for some people. But do you know what? The best thing about it is you can find the classic Doctor Who episodes online pretty easy enough. So for anybody that hasn't actually really watched Classic Who, this would actually be the time to watch it. And also, like, listening to these streams as well will actually, like, you know, it will actually help you decide whether you want to watch an episode or not, or a story or not. You know what I mean? So, grand. Nice one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. So again, as I said, if anybody wants to ring in about Classic Who, you've got another 5 more minutes to get your names to me. I've got 4 so far as it stands. Actually, just a little thing about Pyramids of Mars, because obviously I've got the DVD there. So just a little bit of a fact for people. So there was a scene in Pyramids of Mars where Sarah Jane Smith had to fire a gun. Or I think it was a shotgun. Now, Elizabeth Sladen and Tom Baker, especially Tom Baker, thought that this was out of character for Sarah Jane's character. So they kind of fought the director on this, but of course the director won in the end. But it's one of the things, it's very interesting when you watch the classic DVDs, and I would encourage people to go out and buy them because the extras are actually quite telling. Come here, buddy. Yeah. Oh, look who wants to join. Why not? There you go, buddy. How are you? How are you, buddy? Now, say hello to your audience. I love you too. Yeah, but it's very interesting when you watch the DVD extras. It's quite telling because some of them kind of don't hide their displeasure about each other, and yeah, it's very interesting, I have to say, isn't it? Yeah, I know, buddy. Thank you. Yeah. Now, tell people you want them to hit that like button. Come on, tell them, say, hit that like button. Yeah?
Hit that like button. It makes my mammy happy.
Yeah. No, don't put that voice on. No.
Do you want me to read comments about it? Or do you just want to say right now we're not going to?
No. Yeah, get rid of, yeah, as I said, the classic Who it is. So if there's any talk of Jodie Whittaker, we don't want any talk of Series 11 or anything about that. This is just a classic Who thread, and that includes the live comments as well, please, if you don't mind. I just don't want any Jodie Whittaker comments in it. The Last Time Lord is here, Stephen Griffiths is here as well, and Rocket Runner, welcome all. So let me see. What's wrong with you, buddy? Do you want to get up again? Oh no, I know what you want now. You're doing that thing again. You can't. No, you can't. You're not now. You. Buddy, now. You barking at me now. He's barking at me because he wants to play now. You see, he knows I'm live, right? And then he's decided, no, Daddy, I want to play now. Excelsior is here as well. Welcome.
Yes, Teddy. You need to get that recorded. So
I know, we'll get that recorded actually. Yeah, I'd love to get that recorded so we can use it for one of the videos like we said. We'll try to organise that. Anyway, 33 people watching right now at the moment. Please do me a favour and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to get callers on now in 5 minutes time, and we'll hear what they have to say about the classic story. So I just want to wait until I get a couple of more names because we don't have enough names. And listen, if you haven't watched the classic episodes, what you're better off doing is just listening to the callers that do actually know, so you can go and watch it, and then, but I will be mentioning 2 stories after just before I leave the live stream, and I'll give you a day and a half then to go and watch those 2 episodes, and then take notes while you are watching them, because you can bring up there might be something that you might want to know about. And of course, people as I said in the live chat, very knowledgeable, been watching Doctor Who since the very start, some of them, so they might be able to answer some of your questions if you have any questions.
Can I say something as a new movie that is totally applicable?
Go ahead.
Is that I know for like most of the stuff that I haven't seen, but when I hear Noel talking about classic Who episodes that I haven't seen to someone else that he normally discusses it with, I get super psyched and have asked him on more than one occasion if we can watch that serial, because they're not called episodes because there were several episodes. What do you call it? A whole story arc? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
So or I've seen part of one and he's told me something about it. So I find listening to discussions about the episodes that I haven't seen, both sides of the comments, what's good about it, what's not, makes me really interested in going back and watching the classic Who, and I have not been disappointed. Granted, the effects are cheesy and stuff, and once you get all past that, because that's just a time thing, I mean, the story more than makes up for it.
Exactly. And that's why I want to do these as well. But here's the thing. It'll encourage people to watch more classic Who as well. And as I said, the classic episodes are very easily accessible online. You can watch the classic episodes anywhere. And I'm pretty sure there'll be people in the live chat telling you where. So when I mentioned the 2 stories tonight, I've got one in mind, which I think most people have seen. I'm trying to do ones right now that are familiar with a lot of people, that I know that a lot of people have watched. So what I'll do is before I take the last call, I will go and fetch the two stories that I want you to kind of take notes on and come on and talk about. And of course, I see Leland. Welcome, Leland, by the way. If you do have any suggestions, right, don't put them in the live comments. Put them in the comments. There's a comment section as well. Put them in the comment section there, and I'll write them all down. And then we can go on from there, okay? So if you do have a story in particular that you do want us to cover, put them in the comments, not the live comments, but the normal comment section after the stream goes up or during the stream, whenever you want to do it.
Question, because I'm a dork and didn't understand the movie thing earlier, obviously that was the point of thing, is the Doctor Who movie or TV movie, The Home Again, that's considered classic Who. Right?
Yeah, but we won't be discussing the movie anytime soon.
Up until that is
okay. Yeah. For now, we will see about the movie. I know people will want to eventually talk about the movie, but I'll have to watch the movie again myself. But yeah. Dan, just put in classic Doctor Who episodes in your Google. Trust me, you for free, and you'll find them. I shouldn't have really said that, but there you go. Hold on, just want to reply to someone here. Right. Sorry, I just wanted to reply back to someone that asked me a question. So, right. Well, it looks like we've only got the 4 names. So, what have we got? We've got 2 minutes left. So, if anybody wants to ring in, last call, give us a text there on Messenger. But we will, yeah, some people are not impressed with the movie, but we will discuss the movie in due course. But obviously, like, you know, the movie is controversial, and it does cause an awful lot of debate, and that will be one that we will do. But right now, let's ease into all of this, and let's see how this goes. Yeah, so. Right, well, great. Well, then that's perfect, Michelle. So you've seen that one. So I'll bring you on Sunday, and you can talk about that one. But do me a favor, watch it again, take your notes, and whatever questions you want to ask, or if there's, you know, if you want to ask the guys, you know, that'll be great, and we'll bring you on. Right. So you watch that one again, and then I'll bring it on. Don't tell anybody else what that story is, because I've only told you right now. So you've got a head start over everybody. Right? So we'll keep it our secret. Right, Peter Davison, how are you? Let me see. Have I missed anybody? Renee is here as well. I don't know if I mentioned you, Renee, but there you go. How are you? Welcome all. And I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope you've had a good week, actually. You know, mine was up and down. You know, but the weekend started off great, so it's not too bad. Right. We're going to just start off. Right, so we'll bring on our first guest tonight. Right, let's see. Oh, Yeah, we'll do the Peter Cushing movies as well. Actually, that we'll do them all. We'll do them all eventually. I want to do them all. To be quite honest with you, this has been something that I've wanted to do for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And with all the drama that we've had, I just look. There's too much drama going on. I just want us to do something positive and talk about a show that we love, and we do love Doctor Who, and we can discuss the classic episodes, and we can have a healthy debate about the classic episodes anyway. We can have different points of views, and we're not going to rip each other's bleeding heads off. That's the point. You know what I mean? You can't discuss the other thing without anybody ripping their heads off. So this way, calmness. Right.
That's why I want you things would be quiet.
I know, yeah, look at him. Will I give him a nacho ball?
Mm-hmm.
So I got these. I'm not going to eat them, obviously, on camera because I had a big bag of sweets last, but I got these nacho cheese balls, right? I don't know if you have ever tried nacho cheese balls. Now, I didn't even know they did nacho cheese balls in Ireland, right? But these things are absolutely... Here, Ted, nacho cheese balls. No, they're not healthy. Trust me. Right, I'm going to bring on my first guest because they've been waiting.
Greetings, Noel.
Greetings, Gary. How are you?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Oh, no.
Hello?
Hello? Oh, no. Oh, no. Damn. Okay.
Hello?
Right. Just right. Tell him that I'm going to hang up and ring him again. I'll probably have to reboot my bloody phone. Gary, there's a few. I don't know if you can hear me. You're probably watching the stream. There's a technical difficulty, so I'll ring you back. There you go. Yeah. Right. Sorry about this, folks. See, this is what happens when you drop your phone about 500 times. Like, that's what I've dropped my phone. Seriously, as I've gotten older, right, it used to be great. Someone would throw me something from a distance. I'd be able to catch it with one hand. Everything would be fine. Now that I'm getting older, everything just keeps slipping out of my hand. Sure, I dropped a cup of tea on myself a few weeks back, do you remember? And I actually burnt myself with oil as well. Like, these things never used to happen to me. And I wouldn't even mind. I'm only bleeding 40.
Watching, 16 likes.
I know.
Okay. Just trying to find live streaming.
No, I'm just looking at what Stephen Griffin's from.
Oh my.
That is so fun. That is so funny. Oh, see, this is what I want. And it's great because everybody now is talking about, I can see, right, we're talking a bit about nacho balls as well, but people are talking about Classic Who. I like that. And by the way, guys, for people that have seen Classic Who and for people that haven't seen Classic Who, if you want to give people some suggestions as well of what episodes are, I keep saying episodes, what stories to watch, please give the suggestions as well to people to watch your favorite stories, you know, because everybody has their different favorite stories. I say we can all agree on the main ones, you know, but then there's ones that we personally like because of certain stories or certain elements of that story. Right. Let's hopefully now I can get this working again, and hopefully we can get Gary on. Just give it a second there now. I don't know. This better not now mess up. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it does. Sure, I could just read out the comments on it if I have to. But I doubt it. We'll get. Oh no, the phone's gone completely black now. Right, here we go. We'll try this again, Gary. Fingers crossed, everybody. I can't even cross my fingers. Oh, I can't even do that. See, I've got weird bones. I can't even, not the way some people can crack their fingers. I can't even crack. Someone tried to crack my fingers before. You can't crack my fingers.
You're never gonna talk to me about weird bones.
Yeah, well, you've got weird bones. Yeah, we know that. It's not a competition, though. What? Ted, do you want a nacho ball, or do you want one of Chef's chocolate salted balls?
Well, which one's between
You put them in.
a nacho cheese ball or a hot lip?
All right, come. Haha! I went.
Nacho cheese ball. If you really wanna know.
Right, here we go.
Well, looking for a dream on me.
Cheryl's had too much sugar tonight, so she's gonna start singing and stuff. Well, when I say start singing, she's gonna crawl out.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Gary? Can you hear me?
Did I make it?
Hello?
Did I make it?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
God. What have you done?
It's not. It must be on his end, and has to be on his end, cause.
No, I can hear you fine.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Would you like
Okay.
me to continue singing then?
So you can hear me, yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah?
Okay, well, hello, Noel.
Hello, Gary. How are you?
Hello, jazz hands.
Yeah, apparently now they want us to use the jazz hands when
No,
we're...
that's my nickname.
Yeah, what?
That's my nickname.
Oh, they call you jazz hands? Oh, I didn't know. See that? I didn't even know my wife had a nickname.
I don't know.
Okay. Right, so two classic Who stories, yeah. Which one would you like to discuss first?
Oh boy, I could talk about either one for a very long time. Let's start with Inferno.
Right.
Because Inferno was the third Doctor Who story I ever saw. I started with the Silurians because they were showing some early Pertwees. And ever since I saw it, it has been and remains my all-time personal favorite story, far and away.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing story for a number of reasons.
Right. Give us your reasons.
What do you want
why.
to? Do you want to talk about? What do you want to? Do you just want to talk? Do you want to ask questions, or have me just kind of talk about what I liked, or how do you want to do it?
No, go on. Talk about what you liked about it. That's the whole this is the whole purpose of this, to hear what you thought of these episodes. Yeah.
Well, no, I thought that I think it was the first, and if I'm not mistaken, the only time in the classic series where they really delved deep into the concept of parallel universes. And a lot of people say, well, this was basically Doctor Who's take on the Mirror episode from the original Star Trek, where they go into the kind of savage parallel universes. But here's the thing. Although, of course, Star Trek aired over here in the States from 66 to 69, Star Trek didn't make its way over to the shores of the UK until around starting in 1970. So at the time where this serial was being prepped and written and shot in 1969, Trek hadn't even made it over there yet. So it's not really, that's kind of a false story that it was kind of a redo of Mirror, because UK hadn't even seen that episode yet. But I just think it's an amazing story that, let's talk about the length of it for a second. The seven parters. It's really weird. With Pertwee, it's the longer stories, when they got to the era of Tom Baker, when a lot of Tom Baker's longer stories, they came up with a clever way to do it. It was basically like a two-parter followed by a four-parter kind of mashed together in the same story. Kind of like, for example, Seeds of Doom had the two parts in Antarctica and all the rest of it on the estate, but still in the same story. With some of the longer stories, like the six-parters, a lot of them are padded and longer than they need to be, but I actually think that while Pertwee's six-parters are kind of padded, the three seven-parters, of which Inferno was one, I thought are all really, really tightly written, really good, gripping stories. It's kind of a, I don't know how that happened, but, and I just, now the first time I saw Inferno, my local PBS station was only airing it one episode a week. So to watch like these stories took like 7 weeks. I couldn't watch like everybody today where you say, oh, gotta watch these stories, and people call it up and in 3 hours they've seen it all.
Yeah.
But I was watching these things at 25 minutes a week. But I just think it's an amazing story. You've already kind of gone over the plot. We don't need to rehash the plot because you already kind of did a little bit of it. But the fact that the original story by Don Houghton was only about the drilling project, and it was at the suggestion of Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks that they toss in the alternate universe angle to kind of lengthen it out a little bit. And I think that's like the genius of the story. I think that the way they do it, especially in Inferno, even more than the seven-parters of the Silurians and Ambassadors of Death, I think Inferno really shows, really me, how the structure and the style of the classic series, for me, is head and shoulders above the new series, because stories like Inferno allow the time for the story to develop. We get to meet and come to know a lot of the really great supporting characters, like, you know, Greg Sutton, the oil man, Petra Williams, who's his kind of love interest, Sir Keith Gold, and the villain, Professor Stallman.
Yeah.
And can you imagine trying to do this story, even as the two-parter now, how much you'd have to just cut for time, and how much you'd have to have the Doctor and the companion at the center of every scene to drive the story to the exclusion of all else. Everything that is Inferno that makes it great would be lost. And the way that the classic series just allowed the story and the threat to percolate with different clues, like there's that great scene with the Doctor and the Brigadier climbing up to the top of the tower to discuss Krakatoa. I don't really know why they needed to climb up to the top of the tower just to have a casual conversation. But anyway, you know, and he drops that little line about Krakatoa and the different infections of a couple of the refinery workers. All of that would have either had to be gone or in overdrive, and the menace of what's going to happen just slowly develops and draws us in to where when everything erupts, then we're more invested in the story because we've gotten to know the characters who are under threat. We care more about them because the show's given us time and reason to care about them. I think that the use of Benton is great. I think this is the first story where he had a really strong role, and the interplay with him and the Brigadier was first developed. When it all goes to pot and everything starts collapsing and Armageddon happens, and you have to also, by the way, Noel, you have to think this is basically what Doctor Who gave us with this story is Armageddon on a 1970s TV budget, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be spoiler for those of the people in the chat or just watching this later haven't seen it. The scenes of the disaster, around England, like the atmosphere shots when disaster happens are chilling, and they didn't even need to put those in. And you know which ones I'm referring to.
Yeah.
But they're absolutely chilling. The fact that in the whole story, there's not like a little kind of light, funny Doctor Who music. The only sound we get for all 7 episodes is not music. It's just that constant sound of the drill.
Yeah.
The drill sound hammering into our head for all 7 episodes to keep us aware of what's going on.
In a way, it was a kind of a clever countdown as well, though, wasn't it, Gary?
What'd you say about the countdown?
I said it was the drill, the fact that we had the sound of the drill, as you said, going through each episode. It was each story. It was kind of like a countdown, because finally we get to a point where the drill would stop.
Yes, absolutely. And, it also makes the whole story a little bit more nerve-wracking than it needs to be. I think if there was music there to kind of lighten the mood or calm us down as viewers, that would kind of dissipate some of the growing, menace of the show. But the fact that drill is just constantly, we can't escape from the drill sounds. Wherever we go in this story, we can't escape the drill sound. So I think that heightens the tension of the story. I'm not going to describe the cliffhangers, but I think you mentioned the countdown. I think that the cliffhanger for episode 4, with the actual countdown, and the fact that the countdown continues into the end credits as the theme music starts and the graphics start, and we're still hearing it count down to 0. I thought, if that was accidental or not, that was a great touch. And as you said on the report you read earlier, I think the cliffhanger for episode 6 is probably the best cliffhanger in the entire classic series. One thing real quick before we get on to Pyramids of Mars, the writer of Inferno, Don Houghton, only wrote one other story in the classic series. In the following season, he wrote Mind of Evil, which is one of my other top Pertwee stories. And in many ways, Mind of Evil fits more into the kind of hard-edged science fiction tone of Series 7, where Inferno is. And because it's the same writer, we also get one of the rare continuity carryovers in that story where the Doctor has a vision of the flames of the Inferno, and that story references how traumatized he still is by the events of Inferno as he relates it to Joe. And the classic series didn't really do that too often with those kind of, especially in the Pertwee era, with those kind of continuity references. But that one really showed how affected the Doctor was. Also, I think you'll notice in the very next story, we get the kind of start of the softer unit family when Joe comes in and Mike Yates comes in, and the Doctor's more of the hero and wanting he's settled into unit. I think you could argue that this story actually is one of the things which drives the Doctor to realize he can't just be all about trying to escape Earth. He's got a responsibility to prevent disasters like this from happening. And it's after this story that his character changes and he's able to become far more settled into his role as UNIC's scientific advisor, and he's a little bit more okay with it. I think because what happens in this story.
I agree, and there's a lot of people in the live comments that actually also agree. Excelsior says, great point, Gary. Being unable to save the parallel universe hurt the Doctor. I mean, let's just before we go on to Pyramids of Mars, I mean, we have to talk about the actual performances of everybody involved because they were sensational.
Absolutely. The fact that Sir Keith Gold, played by Keith Benjamin, who is maybe probably a little bit more famous as Henry Gordon Jago from Talons of Wang Chiang. He's great because his look with the kind of button down, with the glasses and everything, you immediately like his character and you immediately side with him. And the fact that he's already great friends with the Doctor. Professor Stallman, who's one of the great SOBs of Doctor Who history, whose arrogance is his complete undoing, and he has such the war of words and the war of insults that he has with the Doctor is just great to watch.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
and
go on, Gary.
Oh, no,
sorry.
go
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just
Well,
going to
I was
say
just
the
gonna- I was just
performances
gonna
were
say,
just
well,
absolutely
Greg
amazing,
Sutton-
especially the Brigadiers. But I mean, that performance by Nicholas Courtney as the Brigadier and the Parallel, just his performance for me was absolutely fantastic. I just love his performance in it more than Pertwee's, believe it or not. I just think that was his. I'm being honest. That for me, that was one of the best Brigadier star. I'd say it's up there anyways, one of the best, and I think Nicholas Courtney deserves a huge amount of credit, because it would have been hard back in those days, you know, to kind of get the balance right, and I think he did.
The way that he goes from the in control voice of the regime there, where everybody's under his thumb, and the way when disaster strikes, it's his facade slowly dissolves and he becomes a total desperate coward by the end of it.
Yeah.
Again, I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. How could you do a character arc like that and make it believable and make it work?
Yeah.
In one episode or two episodes, you just couldn't. This story needed to be as long as it is, so his menace can be established, and then it can be torn away as events happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, you're totally right. He's fantastic. Greg Sutton, who comes off as a total chauvinist at the beginning, and you see how he's not that, and he becomes the Doctor's, especially on the other side, he becomes the Doctor's staunchest ally.
Yeah.
Again, an arc that wouldn't have worked if you wouldn't have had the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. It needed those parts. It is a great story, and rightly so. It's when it's in polls, it's voted up very highly. Right, let's get on to Pyramids of Mars, and obviously, because I've just been informed that one of the other callers has to drop out. So what I'll do is, Gary, is because we've spoke at length about Inferno, I will give you the same amount of time to talk about, obviously, Pyramids of Mars, and I'll do that with every caller, because we got two more callers after you, and then that's it, I'm afraid, for tonight, because obviously this is new and it'll take people a while to get the hang of this, but again, start watching Classic Who so you can participate. Right, let's get on to Pyramids of Mars. So tell us your thoughts and feelings.
Pyramids of Mars is not my favorite Tom Baker story. That would be Seeds of Doom.
Right.
But it is second, maybe third. If I put Genesis of the Daleks over it, it's no lower than third. I think it's one of the great Fourth Doctor stories. And if you watch this story in isolation, it's still great. But this story is actually the conclusion of a single narrative thread that began all the way back in Planet of Spiders, John Pertwee's last story, because obviously at the end of that story, he regenerates.
Yeah.
Then you have the arc of the Doctor, Sarah, and Harry, which all string one right after the other, right after the other. Then in Zygons, they leave Harry on Earth. And at the beginning of the next story, which is Planet of Evil, it's clear that they just left. Sarah mentions we just left Loch Ness. We're going back to unit headquarters when they get sidetracked to the end of the universe.
Yeah.
And then here at Pyramids of Mars, they're landing back at unit headquarters, only it's 1911, not current. Now, the next story, the next story is kind of doesn't follow on directly from this. You could put a lot of other stories, like fan stories or novel stories, in between Pyramids of Mars and the next story, Android Invasion. But really, everything from Pyramids of Mars to everything from Planet of the Spiders to Pyramids of Mars is a single kind of, well, not an arc, it's a clear continuity that the show really hadn't done since the Hartnell era and really never would again, not threads of this length with this many stories. So that's just kind of a little side note about the placement of the story itself. Robert Holmes, who, while he did not use his name on Pyramids of Mars, if Robert Holmes, and we all know Robert Holmes is one of the great writers of classic Who, in my opinion, if Robert Holmes had written nothing but this, he would still be assured of a special place in Doctor Who history.
Yeah.
Even if Pyramids of Mars was his only story.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Yeah.
The one thing that's striking about this story, especially if you're watching in order, starting with with Robot, for the Tom Baker stories, is that up to this point, this is the most serious, non-jokey, non-quippy, non-funny the Fourth Doctor has ever been. I think it's clear because he realized, because the story didn't really allow for that, but you can say arguably the Doctor himself realized this is not a situation to be light and quippy and funny. But not only is the Doctor more serious, but this is probably the most intense. Well, this is the Philip Hinchcliffe's, and we all know he was the kind of gothic. The 3 years with Tom Baker, they kind of set a gothic tone over the whole series. But really, the first season, the season with Sarah and Harry, a lot of those shows were commissioned and left over from Barry Letts.
Yeah.
They didn't really have as much of Hinchcliffe's personal fingerprints on it as this season did. The previous story, Planet of Evil, was a homage to Forbidden Planet, and it looked great and was a good story, but it had kind of spacey, kind of scary elements to it. But I think that Pyramids of Mars is really the first story where Hinchcliffe really showed the gothic horror tone that he wanted to have. It was all right here in a way that the previous story or the previous season did not. Because you think about the raft of horrific imagery in this. You have when Mark Descarmin first, decked in his kind of, with the black mask and everything, when he steps out of the sarcophagus and touches Namin, and Namin's shoulders start burning because we realize he's being burned to death. Then with the death of the Dr. Warlock, who, we've come to really love, and even Lawrence Scarman later, and we know that he's on a fool's mission, and we can sympathize with the doctors and patients with him for not wanting to accept that his brother is dead, and this corpse walking around is no longer him. But we can't totally think of him as a fool, because any of us can understand you don't want to accept that your brother's dead and he loved him so much that he just can't accept it, and that proves to be his undoing.
Yeah.
But both of those deaths are all the more horrific because we've come to love and sympathize with those two characters.
Yeah.
So it affects us more, and it makes the whole thing more horrific. And let me see, another note. Oh, the note about Sarah's dress. The fact that I like the little homage to Victoria, even though he never, I don't think the second Doctor ever called her Vicky. At first I was going, why are you calling her Vicky? Because Vicky was Hartnell's companion.
Yeah.
But that was just like, that was a minor continuity error. But I like the fact that if they were going to dress Sarah like that, they had the consideration to actually make the shout out to Victoria.
Yeah.
And that was great. So let's talk about Sutek. For a villain, Noel, that appeared in a single story in 1975, the fact that even now, 40 years later, fans are still calling for the return of Sutek, that really tells you what a masterful writer Robert Holmes was. And for a villain who, except for maybe the last scene in the story, I'm not really giving it away, it stays sitting in a chair the whole time.
Yeah.
And yet counted as one of the iconic villains in the entire classic series. That's an achievement.
I agree. I love Sutek. It's one of the villains that I would love to see return, because obviously we've only seen that one story. So yeah, I mean, Pyramids of Mars for me, as I say, it's one of my favorite stories. It's up there as one of my personal favorites now, I have to say. But I love Artin got to do with Egypt as well, so that was the draw for me. But I can't think of the guy's name that played Sutek, and forgive me, but he was a voice actor, obviously.
Gabriel Wolf.
Yeah, Gabriel Wolf. I mentioned his name there already. See,
oh no, I'm sorry. Gabriel Wolf did the voice. Stephen Thorne, who a couple seasons before that had played Omega, was the body.
All right. Well, then there you go. That's brilliant. But that performance, again, without that voice performance, Sutek wouldn't have been as memorable, in my opinion. I mean, it's just the voice actor, Gabriel Wolf, he knew exactly how to play this character, and it was flawless, in my opinion. I would definitely love to see Sutek back, but we will have to wait and see what happens with Doctor Who. But it'd be nice to bring back some villains like that, in my opinion.
And the fact that every word was so carefully enunciated. That was a lot of his menace. Not only was just the kind of undertone of menace in his voice, but the fact that every single word was so precisely enunciated. And those they're not even really an insult, I would say, but the fact that where he forces the doctor down to his knees while still he doesn't have to overact and shout and scream. He just, by his power, forces the doctor to his knees and says, "You're an ant, you're a termite, you're a groveling insect."
Yeah.
All of that, and we believe it.
Yeah.
We totally believe it. We haven't even seen the guy do anything other than say these words, and it's the doctor's reaction as well as the words that Sutek is using, where later on he says, "Where I tread, I leave nothing but dust and darkness." And the images that conjures up in your head, again, is a testament to Robert Holmes' writing, but the imagery is so vivid that where he says, "Your evil is my good." And that's a concept you can actually wrap around your head for about half an hour.
Yeah.
But just in one line to epitomize everything that drives a villain, it just, it's absolutely amazing. It's really the template. It's kind of, everybody says, "Well, I want a villain like Sutek," and I kind of understand what they mean, but you really can never have that again.
Exactly.
It was everything. It was the voice, as you said. It was the just the presence. It was the writing. It was the way the doctor reacted. Oh, and let's take a second before I run out of time I want to talk with you and get your thoughts about what that time I think was probably the darkest scene in the story, where he takes, and I'm still not really sure, we can sit around and try to figure out, well, how did the doctor actually do this? I mean, within the canon, within the context of the story, where he takes and shows Sarah what not stopping Sutek would be like by showing her a devastated wasteland of an earth, and opens the door. And that, talk about a powerful image. That was, I don't know how you explain how the doctor did that or what exactly the doctor was doing, but even so, you can't get lost in that. Just the power of that scene. Wasn't that scene great?
It was. The thing about it is, though, about that scene, it kind of confused me because I thought the whole point was the doctor couldn't steer the Tardis properly, and he always landed on these places that he didn't want to land, and then all of a sudden, like, he's able to bring them, as you said, to what the world would be like if they didn't stop Sutek. I thought the scene was very. I thought that scene was very well done. I mean, Sarah Jane Smith's reaction to when the doctor says, "No, this is what the world will be like," because she just wanted to go home at this stage. Yeah. She just wanted to go home, and he was saying, "But if we go home, this is what."
Here's 1980.
And she didn't believe him at first. She said, but this is what the world would end up like. And then she says, okay, we must go back. And he goes, yes. I thought that was a great scene. I agree with you. That is a very, like, if you're watching that for the very first time, it is a very, stark scene. It's like, this is what evil can do, and it's not good. And that's what I liked about Doctor Who. It never shied away from controversy and to highlight those type of things. And that's what I've always loved about the show.
If you think about it kind of tonally, that scene is very similar to the "Do I Have the Right" scene from Genesis and the Daleks, because it's all about what are the implications and the results in one case of doing something, and in this case not doing something. Both of those scenes are about everything we do has unimaginable consequences. So there's a lot of kind of thematic parallels back to that other iconic scene. One last thing about Pyramids of Mars. I think for me personally, I think the first 3 episodes are a little bit stronger than the 4th episode. I think the 4th episode, while obviously it's needed in the context of the story to have the confrontation, the actual physical confrontation between Sutek and the Doctor, I think that we go from these fantastic location-driven first 3 episodes where the story feels very open as they're running around the grounds, and we get a real kind of feel for the environment. The fact that the 4th episode is a little bit more studio driven, and we get things like, he has to figure out the logic puzzle of Sarah being trapped and everything. It kind of falls down for me because it's just kind of a little bit so different from what I love about the first 3 episodes, but the fact that there's more of Sutek in the final episode, makes it great. So that little kind of minor caveat aside, I want to congratulate you for choosing 2 such fantastic classic series episodes to start off kind of our focus on the classic show. I want to say that to me, this feels like watching and talking about these 2 stories compared to everything else. It's kind of like breathing pure oxygen compared to the carbon monoxide that we've been breathing for about a year with those others. So this was just a great couple of stories that you picked today.
Thanks very much, Gary. Gary, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you for your ratings for both episodes out of 5. Both stories, I should say, out of 5.
Oh.
So what would you give Inferno out of 5?
5 out of 5.
Okay. And Pyramids.
Yeah, can I only go up to 5? Can I give it 6 out of 5?
I get what you're saying. So Okay, we'll give it a 6 out of 5.
For pyramids of Mars, boy, my little caveat about the final episode doesn't take it down much, so I would give it, boy, I would say maybe 4.5.
Right. So I want to write down, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a video of everybody's and the people in the comment section now, not the live chat, in the comment section want to give me their ratings for each episode. What I'll do is I'll put your names down on a video and I'll put your ratings up. If you want me to actually put your names up on a video and show the ratings of what you gave Inferno and Pyramids of Mars, that's up to you yourselves. But listen, Gary, thanks for that great first call. I really appreciate it, and thanks for the kind words as well. And let's hope we can have a bit more fun now as we move forward.
We will. This is going to be great. I think people are going to be really into this, and if nothing else, it's a way for the people in the chat and watching this to hopefully, with all these calls, think to themselves, wow, I'm really going to go watch this. It will drive people to either revisit classic stories they haven't seen in a while or revisit them for the first time. You know what? I actually really envy anybody who's going to see these two stories for the first time. I really envy them.
Same. I really do, because they're absolute, seriously, I wanted to start off with two amazing stories. Now, don't get me wrong. I could have actually picked Genesis of the Daleks as well, but I will do that. Actually, I have the two stories in mind for the next stream, which are two good stories as well. Actually, I think people will be happy with the two choices. And then after that, right? Then next week, then yous will get to choose the two episodes, whatever episode or stories. I keep saying episodes. Whatever stories get the most votes or get the most mentions in the comments, not the live comments, but the normal comments of this stream. Don't put any ratings in the live comments. Put them all in the comments, the normal comment section, so I can actually screenshot them if you want me. And by the way, let me know if I have your permission to put your name up, because I don't want people saying to me, oh, I don't want my name up. Just let me know beforehand if I've got your permission.
Oh, sure.
Leave your rating.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add, fine, Gary, before we finish up, mate?
No, I just want to say that it's also, talking about stories everybody considers classic is great, because, we share a mutual love for all the great high points of the stories. But I think it's also going to be down the line. I think it's also going to be equally entertaining to maybe talk about these stories that are, whose value is a lot more dubious, or even stories that are like hidden treasures, like stories that maybe aren't considered, don't have really a great reputation, but are a lot better than they're considered to be. I think there's like such a mix of different kinds of stories that we can talk about. So I'm actually really looking forward to it.
This is the thing I even said to the show when we do this, said it will be very interesting when we get to the stories that aren't very popular with Whovians, because it's different with classic episodes. Nobody be ripping people's heads off because of their opinions. You'll actually see the difference when we talk about classic Who than when we talk about the new era, let's just say. And that's what's going to be interesting about, because there will be stories that people that will be sitting there and listening, because I've been listening to you now, and then there'll be stories then that I haven't watched in a while, and I'll be listening to someone talking, and I'll be like, as you said, I'll be like, all right, I have to watch that now. And that's what I want for this. And I want people that haven't watched Classic Who to try and sink his teeth into it, because you really don't know what you are missing. Seriously.
And if anybody is watching Inferno for the first time or has seen it, and in either case has not seen Mind of Evil from the next season by the same writer, Mind of Evil is a great follow-up to Inferno. So if you want something else besides the two stories from today to follow it up with, and the two that you're going to later recommend, Mind of Evil I would put as a really, really strong follow-up to Inferno for those people who want to try that one out too. And I will let you both go. So talk to you soon, Noel, and see you later, Cheryl.
Bye. I'll practice my grease too.
I'm only going to call you Jazz Hands at the start of my call, not at the end.
All right then.
I love it. Thank you, Gary, for coming on, and thank you for the words of encouragement and support. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, God bless. Talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon, mate. Good luck. Bye-bye. Now, and that was Gary, everybody. Great first call. So that's the type of thing we want to do here now on this channel. Okay. So I hope everybody does actually, enjoy it. Right. There's me, buddy. Hello. I know what do.
What is he talking about?
He's talking about, look, I'll show you now who he's talking about. This is why I'm saying that's who they're talking about. Paul, I sent you a message there. I've seen that you sent me a message on Messenger there. I've sent you a message there, Paul. If you want to come on, then that's great. Another caller, because I've already got a caller that's dropped out. So if you'd like to come on and talk Inferno and Pyramids of Mars, I've just sent you a message there, pal. Right, listen, got a few new people in the chat. I just want to give a shout out to. We've got, as I said, Paul is here. Extra Spice Mikey also, welcome. Darren is here also. Welcome, Darren. Adam Darren, I should say. Welcome, Adam. Nice to have you here as well, mate. And we've got, where are you there? I seen you there just a second ago. Where are you? Life Upgrade is here as well. Remember, folks, I see a lot of you are actually putting your ratings in the live chat. Do me a favor, put it in the normal comment section. And if I have your permission to put your rating up in a YouTube video later on, just right beside it, have permission so I can, and then I'll crop it so I can take the have permission part out. But just leave your ratings for the two. And if you agree to let me put it up, just leave it in the, yeah, you know what I mean. Now, who else have we got? Let me see. Has there any more names? I need to put that away so I don't. Do us a favor, guys. If you liked what Gary had to say, please give the video a like. And if you like the new format as well, actually, so I know, please give the video a like. Or leave me a comment in the live comments right here now. If you actually like this format and you, as I said, great. So, right. So I've got 3 more callers to go. So we have Paul, we have Robin, and we have Rick coming on. And then that'll be it for tonight's stream. So I'll give everybody, so what did Paul got Gary got a half an hour. Did you get a half an hour?
Wait, you don't want the ratings in the chat, you want them in the comments?
Yeah, I want the ratings in the comments, not the live chat. There's a comment section, yeah? I don't know. Can you actually see that comment section while the live chat is up, though?
I don't think you can.
I don't think so. You probably have to wait till afterwards, guys. But welcome. Right. I'm going to bring on our next guest. And hold on. I just want to double check now that the other 2 guests are still ready. It's still going to come on. Just want to make sure. I'm just asking you if these are still coming on.
Renee says yes.
What?
Renee said yes.
Renee said, yeah, what? Well, I didn't get a message off Renee.
Oh, it just says yes, I can.
I don't know.
Can I clarify why I'm deleting comments that mention other?
Of course you can.
Okay, maybe that's why you're looking. Okay, y'all. This is my whole thing. There's obviously been drama and hatred and stuff that's just stirring up all sorts of ridiculousness, and it's gonna make my head explode. So even if it's well-meaning, unless like Noel specifically gives a reason to bring up a YouTuber, for instance, like he's saying something about oh, did you guys see the video on blah blah blah? And someone goes, oh yeah, it was on Bolster posted a new video. Like if he brings it up, that's one thing. We're not mentioning other YouTubers because even if the comment's positive, it doesn't go well. And especially if the comment's negative, I'm just deleting it right away. So we're just not talking smack about anyone.
Exactly.
And if anyone comes on and says, oh, by the way, did you see this hateful comment so-and-so did? We're not talking about it. I'm deleting it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's not happening because there's fake accounts and there's drama and there shouldn't be. And it's stupid and no good ever comes from it from everyone. And I'm shutting it down.
Yeah. Another thing as well, I just want to add, I don't care what any other YouTuber does out there with their channels. I don't care if they charge for reviews or they do anything like that. That's their business. They run their channel the way they run their channel. I'll run my channel the way I want to run my channel. So listen, don't want to hear about any other YouTubers. I don't want to hear about what's being written about me or what's being written about this YouTube channel anymore. We are concentrating on what this channel is all about, which is Classic Who and all Doctor Who related stuff. And also, as I said, we'll be branching into other stuff. We'll still be doing our Series 12 stuff. So I don't want to hear about anybody.
Not that anyone said it.
Right. I know. I'm just letting people know. I'm not being rude or anything. I just don't want to know what's going on with other people's channels. It's none of my business and it's none of their business how I run my channel. Simple as that. Right. We've got that out of the way. Now, and there's teddy bears.
Is this mine?
Okay, Extra Spice Mikey wants to see Ted. Well,
here's his little face.
Now, there, right. So, Extra Spice Mikey wants Ted. Extra Spice Mikey gets Ted. There you go. There. Say hello to everybody, Ted. Right. As I said, if you want to watch any Classic Who episode, all you just have to do is write in Classic Doctor Who, and you will find somewhere to watch it. I can't say over the stream, sorry. So you will have to figure it out yourselves. Right, let's bring on here. We got your buddy coming on. Here, look, we've got your buddy Ted. Guess who's coming on? Let's see. Your buddy is coming on. Yeah. Any second now. We're nearly there. No, this is the longest. Ah, there we go. Woohoo! Hello, Paul. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Did we wake you up?
No, I am under the weather.
Oh, well, you didn't have to come on, pal, if you're under the weather.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Anytime that I have a chance to talk about Pyramids of Mars and Inferno, I am all on board.
No problem. Right, go ahead. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Okay, I will leave the best for last. So let's talk about Inferno first. I absolutely love Inferno. I think it is an absolute classic. I think it is an absolute all-time great. There are so many themes and ideas and things running through that story. Okay, from see, if you look at the allegory used to talk about global pollution and over mining, okay, and the search for alternative forms of energy, right? When you look at how the government can be overbearing and autocratic, and I'll tell you, the character of Sir Keith, brilliant character, okay. And if you look at the character of the lead scientist on that project, another absolutely brilliant character. And then if you look at the the overbearing fascist world that alternate that alternate Earth exists in, because when the Doctor meets Liz Shaw, and she's basically like a Nazi German scientist, and the brigadier to give him the eye patch, absolutely brilliant. Okay, so even though they're a very fascist world, and it's a very fascistic society, and they're ahead of I guess mainstream Earth or our Earth as far as their drilling program. But being the fact that the Doctor is a scientist, his knowledge as a scientist is respected, although they don't like him being they don't like him being altruistic. Okay, so then the Doctor has to consistently fight them, slow down with the drilling. There have to be different forms of alternative energy. You should not be trying to tap deep inside the Earth for alternative forms of energy. So then, when they tap into the Earth, excuse me, and people start to change, and they become these crazy monsters, and then the Doctor has to try to convince them that what they did was wrong. Brilliant story, brilliant themes that can absolutely be brought forth to modern day times. So, because of the world that we live in, I'm not going to name names or politicians, but you know what? If we're all smart enough, I think we could all understand where I'm going with that. So, I love that story, and also, the.
By the way, before you continue, I'd just like to let you know that Gary is shit talking you in the live comments there. So he's taking bets on when you'll drop out on this phone call.
Oh, I say he's going to drop within 10 minutes.
Yeah, everybody is saying you're
No,
going to.
not me.
No, Cheryl's saying you're going to drop within 10 minutes. So I reckon you'll get through this whole call, not a bother on you.
And I think we should name politicians anonymously. I think we should give them all interesting pet names, like Mr. Pookie and Shookums.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, for what nickname do we give the person that he's talking about?
It doesn't matter.
Mr. Pussycat?
I will leave that to others. Yeah, I stay above that.
Thanks. Right, back to where you're sorry about that, Gary. I just had to tell him, man. Just had to tell him. It's a bit of a rivalry between you two. We're joking.
No. Yeah, listen, Gary is brilliant.
I know he is. I know.
So we're actually like trying to set up some sort of a three-way thing between myself, Gary, and Neil. AKA not my Doctor Who. So it's brilliant, man. Brilliant guys. So yeah. So then when the Doctor escapes the destroyed Earth, that destroyed alternate universe, comes back to our universe, comes back to our world. So now he has to convince the project director in this reality. He has to convince the Sir Keith in this universe to stop the project, to keep things, to keep what happened in the alternate universe happening here. And it's absolutely brilliant. And I know that some people said that, they were not crazy about Liz Shaw. I absolutely love Liz Shaw. I love every companion from the classic era who was a scientist, because they were able to stand up to the Doctor because of their scientific background, because of their scientific knowledge. Yes, they were not a Time Lord. Obviously, they knew nothing about alien cultures and societies and time travel and transdimensional engineering, but they had a confidence from their background. The Doctor respected, that he could not dismiss, that he could not simply pat them on the head and send them away like a little petulant child, like he could every other and I really like that about the scientists. So I think Inferno was a brilliant story. I think it was a brilliant design. I think it was thought out well. I think it was planned out well, and I absolutely think that Inferno is absolutely one of the best stories of classical. Now, when you want to talk about pyramids of Mars, where do I possibly start? Pyramids of Mars. I mean, I can literally sit here and quote you verbatim, word for word, lines of dialogue from Pyramids of Mars. It is absolutely, in my opinion, the best Doctor Who story ever. Classic era, new era, anytime. I love the story. I love the concept of the idea, the concept of the Osirans, the concept of Sutek.
Mm.
Okay, and then set in 1930s Earth, and then you have Sutek. He's in the pyramid. He's oh god, he's being held in the pyramid of Mars. Actually, no. Actually, he was being held. Sorry, he was being held in Egypt. He was being held in a pyramid on Egypt, but the pyramid of Mars was on Mars.
Mm.
That's what was holding him captive.
Yeah.
Inside his pyramid on Egypt.
Mm.
So, I love the robots. So the fact that Egyptian society was loosely based on Osiris society, so that the service robots the Osirans used looked like mummies. I mean, just brilliant. I mean, who thought of these things? So that was the Philip Hinchcliffe era. Absolutely brilliant. And one of the things that makes Pyramids of Mars work so very well was the voice actor Gabriel Wolf, because his acting for Sutek, because they basically told him, listen, we're never going to see your face. We're never going to see you. So he said, oh, okay, how possibly, if I can't be on stage or I can't be on screen and you could never see me act, but I have to lend my acting ability to this role. And he actually nailed it out of the park. I mean, I would do an absolute disservice to try to copy the brilliant dialogue, the way that he delivered it. But when you hear him speak and he says, you know, I could, if I chose, to keep you alive for centuries, racked by the most excruciating of pain. And the way that he says it, when he says, you choose to pit your will against the might of Sutan. If I wasn't sick right now, I would actually try, because I can't say enough about the Pyramids of Mars and the dialogue between Tom Baker and Sutek when he travels to Egypt, to the pyramid where Sutek is being held. And I know this call is horrible, because listen, I am sick right now, so I'm really trying my best to get.
You're grand, man. Everybody understands, man. Don't worry about it. You're still on. You came on.
That,
So.
when he asks Tom Baker, and one of my favorite lines ever, and he says, "Evil, your evil is my good.
Mm.
I am Sutek the Destroyer. Where I tread, I leave nothing but dust and darkness. I find that good." Brilliant. I mean, when I was 5 years old in '77 and I saw that, I was literally sitting on the edge of my bed, motionless. I was so terrified. I had nightmares for like the next 3 days. Just brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I love that. I love that story as well. As I said, it's one of my personal favorites. But while I was watching, as I was saying, while I was watching it, as I did in the introduction at the start, I said, a little bit of a fact here. Sarah Jane, obviously, in that episode, fires a shotgun, and Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen actually had a real problem with that because they thought that was out of character for Sarah Jane. It's I just love. I was just saying to people, if you ever do get a chance to get the classic DVDs, get them, because you get a lot of behind the scenes and interviews that have been done, and you could actually see that there was still animosity between Elizabeth Sladen and obviously the director, because they basically herself and Tom Baker said this was out of character for Sarah Jane. I don't know what you thought of that scene personally, but to me, it looked kind of out of place. I don't know about you, but I thought it looked a bit out of place, that scene where she's using the shotgun.
Why do you say that? Because, all right, when I was 5 years old, hey, whatever, it's Doctor Who. But when you say that, never really, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It was out of place for Sarah Jane, but I will tell you something. That entire story, there were several things out of place because let's go back to the opening part of the story. They're in the Tardis, and Sarah Jane is talking to the doctor, and he's thinking about his life.
Yeah.
And he says, Sarah Jane says, "You should be happy. We're going home." But the doctor says, "The earth isn't my home, Sarah. I walk amongst the stars." She says, "Yes, I know. You're a time lord." He says, "Yes, I am a time lord." And she says, sometimes you don't seem, and she cuts herself off, and then he says, "Human?" She says, "I'm not human." He says, "I've lived for over 750 years. I walk in eternity." So that is brilliant acting, brilliant writing. Things that we don't see but anyway, so as the story goes on, there's another scene where when they're looking for the game warden shotgun, and Tom Baker, well, the doctor, is describing the Osirans, and he's describing their society. And Sarah Jane says, the doctor says he was so powerful, it took like 700 of his own people, including Horus, to finally take Sutek down. And he said, if he were to get free now, I don't think there's anyone in the entire universe who could possibly stop him. And Sarah Jane says, "Well, what? Not even your lot, the Time Lords?" And he says, "Yeah, not even my people."
Yeah.
And we know the Time Lords as the most powerful race in the universe.
Yeah.
So it's things like that within that story that to me always stood out. That Sutek is so different. It is taking the doctor out of his character. Like there's a time when they fast forward to 1980 and we see a dead rock circling a dying star. And he says Sutek is so powerful that he has the ability to rewrite history as we all know it.
Yeah.
He has to be stopped no matter what. So all throughout that story, there are scenes where the doctor does things that are out of character, but it flows with the story because Sutek is so absolutely powerful that it forces you to do things against your character, against your nature. Yet another reason why I love Pyramid of Mars so much. Oh man.
See, now in my family, we would just yell out, "Fake!" But I mean, it's really sad.
Gary did say that if you stop talking for 5 seconds, we have to ring 911.
I was like, that won't
He's still alive.
be a hell of a commute right now.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Uh, let's see.
Like,
Go ahead.
I love that where he, the doctor makes, the doctor makes the doctor makes some sort of some sort of a radio transmitter to try to break up Sutek's mind control. Then he interferes with the force field generator. Then there's another scene where he's telling Scarman's brother that listen, that's not your brother anymore.
Love you.
Sutek killed him, but through the use of his power, he has reanimated his corpse and he's mind controlling him. At the same time, he's controlling each and every single one of the robots while keeping surveillance on the entire site. That's how powerful that he is, and there's just consistent build-up and build-up and build-up, and it gets paid off in the end. It is brilliant. I mean, that is writing at its best. And Philip Hinchcliffe, when people who are not familiar with Classic Who, when they hear us talk about the Hinchcliffe era, you have to go watch Pyramids of Mars, because you will see why Philip Hinchcliffe is the best producer in the history of Doctor Who, why his era overall as an era was an absolute brilliant era. If you look at Planet of Evil, Face of Evil, the Face of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, I'm drawing a blank now, excuse me guys. It is absolutely brilliant era.
Yeah.
So I know we're talking about Pyramids of Mars, and I know I'm not doing a very good job of explaining myself now. So you have to forgive me.
No, you're grand. Look, the fact that you've even came on and lasted this long, I'm amazed, to be quite honest with you, because you should be resting up, my friend, to be quite honest with you. But I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, we've still got 11 minutes to go, so I mean, if you want to continue on, we can continue on talking. If you don't feel up to it, it's fine, my friend.
Yeah, sure.
Well, firstly, I'll ask you, what would you rate Inferno out of 5, and what would you rate the Pyramids of Mars out of 5?
Personally, I have always rated Inferno a 5 out of 5, and I've always rated Pyramids of Mars a 5 out of 5.
That's fair. Yeah, well, actually, I would agree with you on that one now, because I personally do like Pyramids of Mars as well. It's just, I believe it or not, right, between all of us in the live chat and the people that are watching, I actually have that one on a disc that was downloaded when you could first download stuff, and I have that episode, and I still have that disc to this day. I've never gotten rid of it, and it was recorded off UK TV Gold when they used to show Doctor Who. So I actually have that old disc with that. Even the ads are on it. Even the ads and all that they had the time it was aired is on this disc. And believe it or not, it still works. It still actually works. Now, obviously, I don't watch it because I've got places where I can watch Classic Who now, and they're all there. But it's great. I still have it. And you know, it still works. So yeah, it is. It's one of that was actually one of the stories. I think that, as I've said, that I was introduced to Tom Baker's Doctor with Pyramids of Mars, and I love art and got to do Egypt anyway. So I was already sold on Pyramids of Mars even before I'd seen it on screen. And then, of course, obviously, I seen it on screen, and it's absolutely fantastic. Even the atmosphere. And as you said yourself, Gabriel Wolf's performance, absolutely superb. I mean, it was everybody involved. It was a flawless performance by them anyway. And again, you know, we say about today's Who, but going back to Classic Who, there's one thing we can say. They may have had dodgy sets, dodgy fucking aliens in it. But the one thing about it is that you can always say is that the stories, the writing The writing was I'm not going to say it was top notch all the time, but it was definitely up there. It didn't really, it didn't disappoint. It never really disappointed you. That's what I even find. Even with some of the not so good episodes, there's always one or two episodes within that whole story that are actually good. It's just the rest that lets it down. But the writing in most of the Classic Who stories are actually very good, in my opinion.
I know that we're talking about Inferno and Pyramids of Mars. The face of evil was let down, in my opinion, by the very low budget and the production values. Still a much better story than I would say 90% of what you see with New Who.
Yeah.
The reason being, Classic Who, the face of evil had brilliant writing and brilliant acting and actors who took everything serious because the producer took everything serious. There was this air of, oh, it has to be light and fun and light humor and it's silly and it's for children. No, I'm not a 5-year-old boy anymore. I want seriousness. Okay, if I want to laugh and I want to be entertained, then you know what? I'll turn on friggin' American television and that's shite.
Yeah.
I'll turn on friggin' Stargate SG-1 for light humor and not taking things but so serious, right? So when you talk about Gabriel Wolf, and probably going to embarrass myself here, but when he says you pay me will against mine. kneel before the might.
Yeah.
In my presence, you are an ant. Insect. Abase yourself, you groveling insect. Just brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot even begin to do that man justice. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So again, that's more of the things from Classic Who, and especially with the Hinchcliffe era. So about Classic Who, the actors took everything serious. The writers took everything serious. The producers took everything serious. And with Hinchcliffe actually brought in that gothic horror.
Yeah.
Okay, he absolutely brought that in, and he wanted to have it. His thing was, and I don't remember which because I have all of the DVD releases. I don't know if it was.
Don't worry, that's just Paul's girlfriend texting him while he's on the phone there. She's a bit of a bunny boiler. We can just hear ding, 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 ding in the background.
It's like, what are you doing? Come to bed. You've been sick all day. She's like, why are you doing this? But so she will be all right. So I don't know if it was Pyramid of Mars, but Hinchcliffe said they were doing an interview with him, and he said exactly what I just mirrored. Hinchcliffe felt that, yeah, okay, fine, it may be a show for children, but he said, listen, I felt it needed to take a more serious tone, and I think that it needed to be taken much more serious than what it was, and that you could absolutely push what people would be able to watch. That there's children's shows for 3-year-olds, but if this is something that grown adults are watching, and that say 7-year-olds or 10-year-olds are watching also, it needs to be taken more serious, and you need to have actors and writers who take it more serious, and that's what Hinchcliffe did. And if you look at it from every story, okay, that's exactly what he did.
I'm just looking at the comments here because your phone is going ding, 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 and then Stephen goes, what the F? How many texts does he get? Because all we can just hear in the background is ding, 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 ding. Oh my God! Come here. If that's the one woman, Paul, my piece of advice to you is get on an airplane and get out of the country. No man should be receiving that many text messages. Oh my God!
No. See, what it is I just turned on the phone.
All right, so you're getting all the notifications from all the things that you're on.
Yeah, because it hasn't been on since a few. It has been on for a few hours because I didn't go to her today. So she went out and she did whatever, and then.
Steven says it's all these dates from Plenty of Fish.
Hey, my friend, listen, Stephen. Right now, I am in Holland with a friend. So listen, one thing I'm actually not hurting for, my friend, is dates. I'm good.
There you go. You've been told. Right, we've got about 3 minutes left. So, is there anything else you want to summarize? Do you want to do a little summary of both episodes, or is there anything else that you've missed that you'd like to bring to people's attention?
You know what? If I could, since we're only going to talk about classical, I would like to talk about a few episodes that I feel are underrated or flew under the radar or a lot better than people realize. So I'm going to start with The Sunmakers, a Tom Baker story. I'm going to start with The Pirate Planet, another Tom Baker story. Image of the Fendal, another brilliant Tom Baker story. Excuse me. Warrior's Gate, yet another Tom Baker story. The Stones of Blood, yet another Tom Baker story. Okay. So, Robots of Death, Tom Baker again. The Talons of Wen Chiang, Tom Baker again.
So basically, just watch the whole Tom Baker era.
Exactly, yeah.
I love it.
You know, but Enemy of the World with Patrick Troughton. So back in 2012, when the BBC found two stories out of the blue, and they brought them back, and I sat down, and I've always loved Troughton's era because most of his era is lost, and I love his stories. And The Web of Fear and Enemy of the World. Listen, Patrick Troughton,
love him,
was a brilliant actor, absolutely brilliant actor. Matt Smith, you can see, as I've always said, Matt Smith channels the energy of Troughton with the wisdom of Tom Baker. So, Enemy of the World, Patrick Troughton plays two roles in that story. And I'll say this, I did not realize throughout his entire 3 years or 4 years, I think it was 3 years as Doctor Who, we never saw the brilliance of Patrick Troughton. Believe it or not. Go and watch Enemy of the World. The performance he gives as Salamander, Patrick Troughton was an even better actor than we realized. That man was absolutely brilliant. And that story, the idea of that story, there are twists that you never see coming. It is brilliant. And I have to say that I know we're only going to talk about Classic Who, but there are two new Who stories that you can see ideas were stolen from that one story. Go and watch Enemy of the World. And I know my time is up. I wanted to talk about the animations. I don't know if you'll allow me another minute or if you want me to jump off.
No, go ahead. Walk away, okay, man. Walk away.
All right. You and I were talking the other night with our 5 hour.
Oh, hold on. I know what you want to talk about, but I was thinking, actually don't, because you know what we can do? Me and you can actually do a stream just on them animations and the stuff that we were actually talking about, because that stream alone will be very interesting, and I'll actually bring you on for the whole stream. It'll just be me and you doing that stream, talking about what we spoke about the other night. For anybody that doesn't know, after the last live stream, myself, Paul, and Cheryl were talking for, well, myself, Paul, and Cheryl were talking for about 3 hours. Cheryl went to bed. I ended up speaking to Paul for nearly 5 or 6 hours that night. We were talking, and then near the end of the night, we start talking about classic. Well, if you want to do a brief little thing of what we were talking about, but then we can actually do the whole stream on it. But don't give too much away, because we had little. We said something very. We had something very interesting actually.
You know what? It's better that we leave that for that stream. That way we can say it. We can lay it out. We can explore it and then go into it. So I won't even touch it.
Right, great, fantastic. Because I want to actually do that with you, because then we can get people then in the live chat then to actually comment on what we're saying and see what they actually think. But we did come up with some interesting. We had an interesting conversation about the animations and stuff, and we may have stumbled across some, but that's all I'm going to say. Listen, Paul, you get yourself plenty of sleep and plenty of fluids, right? Plenty of vitamin C, and get well soon, brother, because we need you back fighting fit.
Yeah, I will do so. I'm gonna leave this stream on. I'm just gonna lay down and just listen.
No problem, mate. Listen, get well soon, man. I know it sounds horrible. I hate getting sick myself, man, especially the bleeding flu. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, well, I've only had flu once in my life. Knock on wood. So no, it's just temperature change.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, it can happen.
I should be okay in about a day or so.
Hopefully.
But no, I will talk to you later. And Cheryl, night.
Oh, Cheryl's already in bed, but I think she heard you. Hold on, I think she's coming out to say goodnight. Is she? No, I'll say goodnight on her behalf. Good night. She'll probably text you in the live chat. She went to bed. We were up all morning. Believe it or not, right? So it's the weekend, and we thought, great, we'll have a nice, relaxing morning in. And of course, at 8 o'clock this morning, someone actually decided that it'd be a great idea to get a drill, a hammer out, and start banging. So we didn't get much sleep this morning, believe it or not. But she actually said good night to you there in the live comments there. So listen, get well soon, and I'll talk to you hopefully on Sunday, mate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, see you, pal.
All right, take care, Nolan.
Good night. Good night. Now. And that was Paul. Jesus, Paul, listen, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It wouldn't be me. I'm being honest. If I was sick, I'd be like a little baby in bed, crying my eyes out. Sorry, Cheryl. I was only asking you about, Paul, say goodnight to him and all that. Like, I'll keep it down now. Is this good enough for you, woman? Is it? Is it good enough? Is it? Cheryl keeps telling me I should sleep with one eye open. Actually, in some unrelated news, I don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but I just found it funny because Conor McGregor. We all know Conor McGregor. Yeah, he's an Irishman. He's a scumbag, right? Goes around like beating all men up, but he's a scumbag, right? Now, do you remember that Liverpool chick that was saying, he slept with me, the baby is his, but I'm not looking for money, but I did a magazine article and got paid a load of money. Well, it turns out the baby is not even his. They did a DNA test and the baby's not even his. And then I actually said, well, if you think about this logically, so she slept with Conor McGregor because she obviously thought that Conor was the father, which means she obviously slept with someone a few hours either before that or after that, because whoever she slept with before Conor or after Conor was the one that got her pregnant. But imagine she kept this story up for, what, 2 years or something, or a year, and it turns out it's not even his kid. Seriously, man. Oh, by the way, can I play us all something very funny? Right, so Cheryl sent this to me today, right? It's Doctor Who. It's unrelated to Doctor Who, but it's just before I bring on the next caller, right? It's just something to kind of make you all laugh a bit. This is now, I hope you have a sense of humor, because, you know, there's people out there that don't have a sense of humor and get offended by the least little thing. But this thing, if you don't think this is funny, then I don't know. I think there's something wrong with the world, because this is absolutely brilliant. Right, listen to this.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant. I'm Siri, your virtual assistant. I'm Siri, your virtual assistant. Who the fuck do you think you are sending me messages like that? See, fucking you and your business. You what, Sam? You fucking what? You haven't a clue about me and what I go through in my life. The next is you saying that to me about getting a fucking job and about me skin the fucking cheeky. You have no idea about me.
I swear to good God, when I got sent that today, I was like, are you for real? And I'm Irish. That was an Irish girl. So I've actually heard this call before, believe it or not. This has been going around for a couple of years now, but with different videos. But this is the first time that they've actually used it on something that I've actually liked. But this girl, this was a real phone call, believe it or not, that someone took and they recorded it, because this girl went completely nuts. And it's so funny though. It is so funny. It's supposed to be, it's like Siri, right? So look, I'll show you the video. I don't want to play it again, but there. So it's basically supposed to be for Siri. So when you knock it on, you think it's for Siri, right? So
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant. I'm Siri, your virtual assistant. I'm Siri, your virtual assistant. Who the fuck do you think you are sending me messages like that? See, fucking you and your business. You what, Sam? You fucking what? You haven't a clue about me and what I go through in my life. The next
I love that part.
saying to me about getting a fucking job and about me skin the fucking cheeky. You have no idea about me.
That's why you don't want to mess with an Irish woman. Trust me. You don't want to mess with them. They're crazy. Why do you think I married an American? Because I'm safer with an American than I am with an Irish woman. Trust me, they're back crazy. Back crazy. So for anybody out there, right, that's in this live chat, that actually thinks that they might want to date an Irish woman, I hope that actually changes his mind, because trust me, crazy. You don't want to get on the wrong side of an Irish woman. And you know what? There's no point of even apologizing, because you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that for the rest of your life. Stephen Cassidy, good night. Good night to everybody. Saying good night to everybody. Saying good night to me, Cheryl, Ted, Rocket Runner, Gary, Paul, and Michelle. Good night to you, and stay safe, my friend. Stay safe. Right. Do you know who we have coming on next? We've got Leland. And then, yeah, have we brought Leland on before? Or is Leland the first time caller? Don't know if we brought Leland on before. That's a Dublin accent. It's a Dublin accent, yeah. That one there, the woman screaming, that was definitely a Dublin accent. But the Northern Ireland accent is actually, yeah, on Irish women is not actually bad, I have to say, yeah. Right. Let me see what we do now. Another call, isn't it? There's something strange in the neighborhood. And then we've got Rick. Rick will be our last call tonight. Right, listen, I'm actually kind of at the messing this up a bit. I gave everybody a half an hour without even actually thinking that we're going to run out of time. So How will I do this? I'll make it up to the other callers, but we're going to do 20 minutes for each. Right. Yeah, don't mess with an Irish girl. I don't, seriously, no way. Irish men can be that crazy as well. Yes. Actually, there's a video going around of no. Irish people have a weird sense of humor. When we had the storm here in Ireland, there was videos like, the way you do a drug deal right down the back of a lane or something. Well, a couple of Irish lads decided that they take the piss out of that basically, and in Ireland, we actually ran out of bread, believe it or not. Anytime just know the one thing that we run out of in Ireland is bread and bleeding milk, right? It's always the same bloody two things, right? So Irish people start putting up these little videos, right? These little funny videos. There's one video in particular, and it's doing a deal, right? And basically, it's two lads, right? This fella has a loaf of bread in his hand. And he's going, come on, here. They're doing a bread deal and then they leg it. It's so funny. Or the other one with the fucking drone, and it has a Brennan's pan. That's our national bread. We have a Brennan's, but we have different bread, but Brennan's is the most popular. And it's on a drone and it's being flown across the plane because nobody has bread. It's funny. The shit that happens in Ireland when we get a bit of snow, it's unbelievable. It is. It's crazy. Schools come to a standstill, right? Nobody goes to school. Nobody hardly goes to bleeding work, right? I think Irish people love it when it snows because the kids know they're going to get days off school, and the adults, if it gets too bad, know they don't have to go into work, and they'll get paid for not going in. Yeah. Right, I'm going to see if we are ready to take our next caller. I've just sent a message there. So if Leland, if you're still in the chat, you are. Okay. Yeah, bread and milk are the two things. For Irish people, it's bread, milk, cigarettes. If they run out of those three things, all hell breaks loose. Right, let's bring on our second last call. And I think Leland is a new caller.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Leland? Hello?
I can't hear you through the phone, no.
Oh, we're having this problem again.
Hello?
I'll tell you what I'll try do. I'll try ring you back if you don't mind. I don't know what's going on. I'll try ring you back if that's okay.
Okay.
No problem. Hold on, can you hear me there now? Or you heard me through the screen?
Yep, sure.
Maybe you can hear me through the screen. Okay, I'll ring you back. Right, I don't know what's going on with this phone tonight, but hold on. I'll have to reboot the phone again. Right, I'm just rebooting the phone, Leland. Or as Stephen would say, I'm going to reverse the... I can't say it. I'm not even going to try say the word. Polarity. I'm reversing the polarity. See, I still can't do it. Polarity. Blah, blah, blah. Jesus Christ. Now you know what they say. So all great men have a speech impediment. Right. Do us a favor, if you like what's been, if you've liked the stream tonight, please give the stream a like. Also, you know yourself, the usuals, notification. Make sure you are already subscribed if you are subscribed already, and also make sure the other thing. I know I'm missing something. Noel, who will win on Sunday? Liverpool or Man City? Well, for the good of English football, let's hope it's Manchester City. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Seriously, who wants Liverpool to win the league? Well, the lesser of the two evils for me right now, Paul, is Liverpool, is Manchester City. To be honest with you, I'd rather City win another league title than Liverpool win it, because if Liverpool win it, we'll never hear the end of it. It'll be like 66 all over again. The English just have a fascination to keep bringing up about the World Cup, the one World Cup that they won. Like, get over it, you know. Right, we're going to try this again. Right, we're going to try Leland again. And hopefully we get somewhere this time. Sometimes this happens because it's me fault. I will have to eventually start figuring out, which I should have probably done already, but I will have to try figure out how I can take calls on the stream without having to use the phone. And I know there is a way of doing it, and I will figure it out, because we'll try to get as many of you as we can. Right, I'm going to try it again, Leland. Hopefully now. Oh, hold on, I forgot to put the bleeding speaker in. Right, can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Okay. Nice to have you on board, Leland. A first-time call, if I'm correct.
It is indeed, yes.
Okay. So, everybody give a like for Leland for first-time call. Now, you know what it's like to have first-time call. Okay, Leland, what would you like to start off with? Pyramids of Mars or Inferno?
Well, let's start with Pyramids of Mars, which I like both adventures, but the Pyramids has the slight edge for me because I'm exceedingly interested in Egyptian mythology, so that was a definite appeal for me, and might even have started me down the route that I'm at now in terms of when I first saw it as a child. I did find it a particularly creepy episode, I have to say. Even now, as re-watching it as an adult, there is still a sort of, particularly where the poacher gets crushed to death between the two mummies. That is a quite disturbing thing for a child to have seen. And obviously made an impression on me because it still freaks me out even watching that now. That and the scene where the black cloaked figure that you eventually discover is the archaeologist emerges from the sarcophagus and leaves all those burning footprints on the carpet, and then kills off the Ibrahim, the servant, and there's smoke rising from the gloves as if he's dripping with acid almost. Particularly effective, I thought.
No, I agree. I mean, I do agree with you. Actually, the first time I seen that scene with the two mummies crushing the poacher, I do agree with you. That is quite, even as a kid, I remember watching that myself. That is quite frightening, actually, to watch.
It was. I'm quite sure that Mary Whitehouse had a purple fit over that one, if I remember rightly. I don't know if she ever made much of an impression over in Ireland, but she certainly drove everybody around the bend around here, complaining incessantly about everything.
Yeah, well, we have a few of them.
Maybe on this occasion she was right.
Here, come here. Doesn't matter what country you're from, you always have a busybody somewhere.
Oh, yes.
Unknown289 wants me to ask you a question and says, well done, by the way. What do you think of pasta salad? He doesn't like pasta salad. None of us like pasta salad in a microwave. This pasta salad thing has not stopped since it was first introduced onto this channel. Still going on about it. You know, that was a great conversation, actually. Can I put a pasta salad in the microwave? Of course you can.
Personally, I'd like to know if the pasta salad is at all related to the flying spaghetti monster. It has the air of a cult about it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Come here. Back to pyramids, though. I mean, I was saying it to Gary earlier on, and I said it. I think I said it to Paul earlier on. The scene in Pyramids of Mars with Sarah Jane Smith, and the reason why I keep bringing this up about the shotgun is because, you know, I don't know about you, but I remember even watching it back then, and I thought it was out of place, out of character. Do you feel the same way, or do you think, well, it was the way the episode was going, so maybe it was a progression?
Yes, I suppose really, given that they had the plot device where she had to shoot the piles of dynamite to blow up the pyramid,
Yeah.
she was the only character left alive. I think she was about the only one alive at the time. If not, almost all of the other characters had been murdered off by the rampaging mummies, not by Sutek himself, by that juncture. So if it hadn't been Sarah Jane with the gun, who else could have done it? I think maybe they painted themselves into a bit of a corner on the shotgun situation there. It certainly doesn't sit well with the whole theme of the Doctor and his loyalist companions of not using weapons. Although obviously they did backtrack on that one a little bit. Well, by the time we got to the Sixth Doctor, when he, I do remember the scene where he shoots one of the Cybermen, and there's a few other things that the Sixth Doctor does, which doesn't seem to fit with the general, mostly pacifist approach of the Doctor in general, or his companions, with the exception of maybe some of the male companions who were there for the punch-up scenes that the Doctor wasn't maybe the main actor was too elderly to do on some occasions. But yeah, they had to do something. Someone had to fire the gun. So
Yeah.
Sarah Jane.
Yeah. Yeah. You make a good valid point there, actually. Let me see. What else did I mean, let's talk about the performance. Obviously, as I said, and I keep going back to Gabriel Wolf because that voice performance, and it was absolutely fantastic. And actually, I think someone made a point in the comments there. Where is it? Where is it? Someone made a point, and it's related to that. It was got to do with whoever made the comment about Zutek's chair, the hand. Let us know. So apparently, when Zutek stood up, someone saying, "Did you not see? Did you not see the hand?" Someone was saying there was a hand visible or something. I actually don't. I can't remember myself now. I'd have to actually have a look. But that just goes to show you how eagle-eyed some fans are. I'm trying to figure out who actually said that because I want to see what they're actually talking about. Where is it? While I'm looking for that, you just
I don't remember either.
While I'm looking for that, you just keep. Is there anything else that? Come here. Actually, I've never asked anybody any bad points in Pyramids of Mars. Anything you thought that they could have done better?
Not better, but if we're thinking in terms of supporting actors and so on, I thought Michael Shard was particularly good, as several of the previous callers have mentioned him, in terms of the scene where he realizes his brother is now effectively dead, possessed, and I thought Michael Shard did that particularly well. I don't know if you remember Grange Hill. He was the rather unpleasant Mr. Bronson. I think he was the deputy headmaster of Grange Hill School.
Yeah, I watched
totally
Grange
different
Hill.
kind of character. And he played Hitler on several occasions, which gives the kind of range of his character, that he could go from a sweet, elderly country gent all the way to Hitler via a psychotic schoolmaster en route. Apparently, he was a very nice man in real life, although I never actually met him at any event. But I know a few people who did and said he was absolutely lovely. And quite unlike the Hitler characters he played on screen, these tyrannical, sinister characters. And I think maybe this also goes to reflect on more recent episodes, and that if you have decent quality support actors, that can really carry an episode. Whereas if you're sort of employing soap opera cast-offs, it doesn't do quite so well. Especially if the main lead is not all that they could be in terms of acting performance. But I think they did particularly well in classic series for getting some really good supporting actors. Just about everyone who was anyone in the BBC appeared on Doctor Who at some point along the line. And Sean did a couple of episodes. You remember him in The Invisible Enemy?
Yeah.
When he was coated in fish scales and looking completely balmy, with one of the less impressive attempts at makeup that the BBC engaged in at that stage. There was Peter Copley as well, Dr. Warlock, who ended up in Brother Catfile. as the elderly Abbot Heribert, who was absolutely sweet and lovely. But he always seemed to play very sweet, gentle characters. I don't remember ever seeing him playing a villain. He may have done, but I just don't remember seeing him in that kind of a part.
Paul's
he was just too nice a person to play villains.
Paul's made a fantastic point. He said, Doctor Who used to hire theatre actors, not anymore. That is actually true. That's the sad thing about it, is because I think I don't know. I think when you hire theatre actors, obviously Delgado was a theatre actor. They just give the performance. I don't know. It's just something different about the performance. In my opinion, it's more believable. I don't know. I just, for me, lately, as I've said, I've been watching classic era over and over and over and over now, and every time I don't get bored of it. That's the thing. I for example, I watched what was it the other day? What was I watching the other day? I was watching the War Games, right? Now I've seen that. I've watched that 5 or 6 times now in the past week, and I still find myself watching it. I'll probably watch it again tonight. It's just, this is what classic Who does to you. You get sucked in, and once you get sucked in, that's it. You're hooked. That's why I do say, look, people will always say when someone asks, what episode of Doctor Who should I watch? Well, I've always said this from day one, right? For me, you have to watch the classic era first. I'm sorry. I know 2005 is a soft reboot and all, but it's a soft reboot. If you want to watch pure Doctor Who, right, the way it was supposed to be made, the way it's supposed to tone, the whole lot, you go and watch classic bloody Who. Seriously, there is no comparison.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
No comparison. The 2005 reboot, let's be honest, is not bad. It's not, but Russell had to find a way of getting get new fans in. But classic Who is for the purists, I think. I love classic Who, and I keep going back to it. And I'll watch a few episodes tonight now before I go to bed. Stories. I keep saying episodes. See, I have that in my head now because it's episodes in the new era. And it's stories, the classic era, and I keep getting confused.
Yes, I think that very point that it is stories. That's maybe one of the key reasons that, and as the commenter just said about employing actors with a theatrical background rather than ones who've just gone straight from stage school to TV. The classic series told stories, so even when they were including a political message about anti-war or environmentalism or whatever, you noticed the story first. That's what drew you in, and the message was slipped under the radar rather than smashing the viewer over the head with a sledgehammer message.
Yeah,
that's what made it so gripping. And as quite a few people have said, that the quality of writing is the quality of storytelling. That really is what draws me in, I think. Think about what you said earlier in terms of bits they could have improved. I've noticed a few critics saying along the lines that to some extent, the Egyptian mythology was sort of chucked in around the corners and wasn't always explained very well, such as why the robots were dressed as mummies. That wasn't sort of given any great account to, aside from the fact just makes them sinister lumbering around the countryside. Forms part of the kind of villain image for the TV show. But why would the Assyrians have robots shaped like mummies? That could have been explained more efficiently, perhaps. I like the way they included the canopic jars for the force field. So they were sort of drawing on artifacts from Egypt and giving them new meanings and kind of alien purposes. So that was done quite well. But I can take the point that maybe a little bit deeper explanation for some parts of the plot would have enhanced it. But as just about everyone has said so far, I think Sutekh has to come back to face a future Doctor.
Yeah.
As a lead villain. I know they've somewhat kicked the arse out of the Daleks. I do appreciate there's this issue that they've got to appear in every single episode for contractual reasons. But they could do with a new looming supervillain now that the Master, you see, has shuffled off his or her or its mortal coil. And I think Sutekh could fit that bill remarkably well.
Yeah, I agree.
Fingers crossed.
Now, we've got about 7 minutes left now to obviously talk about the other great story that we're featuring tonight, Inferno. So, firstly, I just wanted to ask you your rating for Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would you give it out of 5?
5. Pyramids of Mars for me is a 5. You're breaking up a little bit, so I'm hoping the phone's going to
Okay.
to hold out. But 5. I for Inferno, I'd probably go 4.5.
Right.
So not quite as good, but again, that's because I love Egyptian mythology. So Pyramids is always going to have the edge for me.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Inferno. Good points for you, bad points if there's any, and obviously the performances of the supporting cast and the main cast. What you thought of that?
In terms of good points, it's got to be the plot again. The very idea of a parallel dimension, and everyone existing as an alternate version of themselves. They could perhaps have run with that so that not everyone was necessarily an evil version of themselves. They could have had someone who was quite vile in normal Earth, who was coming across as a very nice character in parallel Earth or something like that. So that sort of mirror image. But I thought that was a brilliant idea, and it must have given the actors a chance to stretch themselves a bit instead of just barking orders of 5 rounds rapid. They got to do something else for a change. And I'm sure they must have thoroughly enjoyed that, because all the actors I've ever met enjoy breaking routine and doing new characters and trying new things. I read a comment somewhere that Liz Shaw, the actress that played Liz Shaw, I should say, particularly enjoyed the chance to be the horrible version of herself from the other dimension, and it gave her an outlet. I did want to know if what you said in terms of the main character from the Waters of Mars struck me as very much like an older version of Liz Shaw, someone who was sort of towards the end of her career in terms of, again, that kind of dazzling intellect, someone very fierce, very independent, who takes no nonsense from anyone, including the Doctor. So a kind of a slightly grimmer version of an embittered Liz Shaw, if you like. She seemed a bit of a joyless character in the Waters of Mars. But bit of an echo going on there, I thought, which was quite an interesting one for me. I suppose in terms of the less successful bits in Inferno, the monster makeup for the Primords was a little bit odd. It wasn't clear why they were all turning into overexcitable Pomeranians, given that they were being infected by green slime. Maybe if there'd been green slime monsters or something like that, that would have been more in keeping. I don't know if you've ever seen a film called The Monster Club. Started with Vincent Price, going back to, I would guess, must be the early 80s now.
I'm not good with names. I have watched Vincent Price. I probably have seen it, but names I'm not good with. But just give us a reminder what it's about, and I might know what you're talking about.
It's a series of short stories all wrapped around a character played by John Carradine, the elderly American actor, who bumps into Vincent Price, who's a vampire, and Price escorts him to a nightclub for monsters. So everyone in there is a werewolf or a zombie or a ghoul or something around it. And then they regale very short stories. But one of the characters is a werewolf with a very unconvincing mask who looks an awful lot like a Primord. Apparently, most of the costumes were done on a very cheap budget by someone whose main job was as a postman. Maybe that reflects a little bit the dodgy standards of the Primord masks as well as the monster masks from the Monster Club. If you haven't seen it, it's a very entertaining film. I thoroughly recommend it. But we'll maybe leave discussion of that until after you've seen it, and then that could be another of your horror movie night themes to talk about, perhaps. Aside from that, I like this idea of an ultra right-wing version of Britain where everyone was going very sinister and very under the thumb of a domineering regime. Bit of a flash forward to potential dystopian futures, and what Britain might one day be like in that kind of Big Brother type universe, which again I do think you maybe echoed a little bit with the rise of the Cybermen. The idea of going to the parallel dimension, although they weren't full on right-wing, there was nonetheless clearly a very domineering government at play there, with all the billionaires floating up in their zeppelins in the sky.
Mm.
So a little bit of an echo of that, of an alternate version, a dark version of Britain. It's kind of seeing ideas recycled.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. You're actually right. That's a good point to bring up. There actually is a few, what we call them echoes or mirror image. I do agree with you in the new series now. Well, not this new series, but the new era. I do certainly agree with you that it looks like they might have taken some of the parts of classic era and kind of reimagined them for today's series. Well, not for this era. But you know what I'm talking about, 2005 onwards.
Indeed,
Yeah.
I think you put up a short podcast, haven't you, about some possible moves for a reboot, or somebody mentioned in a comment on one of your podcasts about the BBC considering revamping old episodes and telling them anew.
Yeah, we spoke about this on this channel months ago, but nothing ever came of it. But it has popped up again, and I might need to actually see if there's anything in that, because we did actually speak about this on this channel that BBC were considering reimagining Classic Who episodes or Classic Who stories. And I'm sorry, I know there's people out there that was saying, "Oh, that's great. Let's get David Bradley back to do the Fourth Doctor stuff." No. If they're missing, they're missing. But again, we will talk about those missing episodes and those animations when I talk to Paul when we do that stream, because that's something we actually want to delve into. Listen, Leland, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on, first time call. But do me a favor, if you ever want to come on again now, let me know. I really I actually get excited when we get new callers. So thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, mate.
I've enjoyed doing it.
No problem. Listen, pleasure having you on. And as I said, anytime you want to come on, you just let me know, okay?
Will do. Thank you very much.
I'll see you later, Pat. Good night. Good night. And that was Leland, first time call. Thank you very much, Leland. Now, as I said before I get the last caller on, I did say I was going to get the 2 classic episodes that we're going to do. Again, I'm not doing it. The 2 classic stories, so just give us a second. Now, so again, because I want to just kind of ease people into it, I want to try get the most recognizable stories. And okay, in saying they're going to be very popular with most Whovians anyway, but I want to start off with kind of stories like that, because as you see in yourself, there's still plenty to talk about. People then give their perspective on their take on each story, which is great. So for Sunday, these are the 2 stories, and obviously, as I said, if you can take notes and stuff, great. Come on then on Sunday and let me know. So the first one, of course, is the 5 Doctors. Okay, so you have Sunday to watch the 5 Doctors there. So we'll put that there. So the 5 Doctors, okay, and so that's Peter Davison's story, obviously, but it's a multi-Doctor story, but it is in the Peter Davison era. And of course, we have probably, for me, it's up there as one of the best as well, and a lot of you will agree, is Genesis of the Daleks. So they're the two classic Who stories we're going to be discussing on Sunday. So if you want to come on and discuss these stories, obviously you go and watch them and take your notes, and then when you come on, You will be better prepared this time because obviously I've given you a bit of time, whereas today I kind of just threw it at you. You will have plenty of time to take down your notes. If there's anything that you didn't like in any of these episodes as well, stories as well, I should say, let us know as well, because you know, let's be honest, there's a few Doctor Who stories out there that are far from perfect, but they're the 2 stories now that we're going to do. Now, I prefer the extra length version of the 5 Doctors. I have that here on this, Matthew, don't I? It's the, you said it to me on this, the extended, yeah. So it doesn't matter which version you watch, right? But the 5 Doctors and Genesis are the 2 stories that we are going to be covering on Sunday. So it'll be great to hear your thoughts on those 2 stories. But we will continue with the last call of the night. We're still on Pyramids of Mars and Inferno, and we're going to get on the last caller of the night, which is Rick Excelsior, and I love that second name. Right, so we'll see if he's ready. Yeah, you did tell me about that. So apparently, because Matthew is, as I said, he works on my Facebook groups with me. If you, there's a Easter egg, there's a David Tennant Easter egg in the commentary, Easter egg commentary there is. So apparently, if there's something you do, you'll explain it in the comment. Actually, Matthew, could you do us a favor and explain in the live comments again? And actually, I can remind myself as well how you do it. But there's a little trick or something. And you'll get to hear David Tennant's thoughts on the 5 Doctors, which I think is actually, you know, coming from a guy that's played the Doctor in New Who, I actually think it would be very, very interesting to see. Gary asks, does he have the right? Well, like us, he's a fan, and I mean, we criticize and praise the show, so I mean, he's probably looking at her from a fan point of view. He wouldn't be looking at her from a Doctor point of view. He'd actually be looking at her from a fan point of view. So from that point of view, yeah, I think he has every right, just like we do, to criticize or praise the show. But you know, each to their own, I suppose. You know, some people are very, you know, would say, no, why is it a New Who Doctor? And I can get that side as well. But right, so we're going to bring on Rick as our last caller for tonight. And it's actually worked out quite well, actually, because we will finish right on time. Right, hopefully now he can hear me. Oh, this doesn't, when it starts off like this is not good. Right, hopefully it doesn't cut off.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Excellent.
Right.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Right, so
Brilliant.
Computer problems all over. Good. So let me turn my volume up a bit.
No problem at all.
A bit quiet. There we go. That's better.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 2 classic stories indeed. Okay.
Yes.
So should we do it in Doctor order? So we start with Inferno.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So as I said in the live chat, it was a world record stunt was performed in that story. If you remember that they shoot one of the primals up on the water towers or whatever they are, and they go, oh, and he crashes down.
Yeah.
You see the guy falling. That was that broke a world record, that jump.
Wow.
They were crazy. Those guys from Havoc in that first series of John Pertwee's, all the stunts were done by the Havoc boys. And they were nutters.
Wow, I didn't know. That's actually very. I didn't even know that. Thank you for that little piece of actually trivia, man. So that is that. It obviously now that record has been broken, but
Oh, it's been broken now. I should
do you
imagine,
know
yeah.
how long the record lasted for?
I have no idea. It's just if you watch the documentaries on the DVDs, you get to hear all of the extra bits, don't you? So I think it was on that
Yeah.
I found out about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Paul,
Heather
it
Boys
is
went
Rick
nuts.
calling in. Paul is just asking who this is. Sorry, I forgot to say. Yeah, it is Rick. He goes under the name Excelsior on the live chat. Sorry, that's my fault. What was this? I was making a play on the Do I Have the Right from Genesis. Oh yeah, I know. I'm a tick. I'm slow tonight, Gary. I'm slow tonight. Well, right, so Inferno. Oh, so go ahead.
Yeah, so we got record-breaking stunts by
Yeah.
Havoc.
Hold on now.
We've got a doctor who's sneaky, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very sneaky, this doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to bring the console out of my TARDIS. Well, first of all, how did he get the console out of the TARDIS? That's a whole different problem. How did he get the console out of the TARDIS? He did. Okay. So he's got the console, sneaked into a little hut with his little to open the doors, and he's nicking power, isn't he?
Yeah.
Cheeky little git. What's he trying to do? He's trying to break the exile that the Time Lords have put him in.
Yeah.
And that is his goal for this opening season. And he mellows, as one of the previous callers said earlier, he mellows throughout the series. But start off, he's like, you don't know him. You don't even know I'm the Doctor. I only know that. Can I have the key? Oh, I found the sign. It's like, bye, everybody. he tricks Liz into getting him the key in the first story, doesn't he? Spearhead from space. And Tardis goes, and blows up. And he comes out in all the smoke and he's coughing. So he's been sneaky right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then so we get to Inferno. He's stealing power to try and get the TARDIS working. He's arrogant and he thinks, oh yeah, these Time Lords, they won't better stop me. I'm gonna break this easy. There's arrogance there, which I really like in John Pertwee's characterization of the Doctor. He's an arrogant man. He knows he's clever, and he knows he's the cleverest person in the room. He just knows he is. So when he meets someone like Stahlman, who is a genius as well, my God, do they butt heads. And he's the only one who ever gives him any lip back as well in the entire story. I mean, Sir Keith tries to control him a bit.
Yeah.
But he's very polite with it. But the Doctor was like, oh, your constitution upsets a bit today, Professor. You know, and he'll give these little snide comments at him and say, do you ever listen to your computer? And so on. So he's the only one who ever, at the beginning of the story, has anything to say against it. He's such a bully, Stahlman.
Yeah.
Such a bully. He really is horrible. Greg Sutton comes in as an expert with Sir Keith. He's hated on the spot, even though he and the Doctor saved the whole project. It's like a grudging, oh, okay. You know what you're talking about then, okay. From Starman, and that's about the best praise you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's a really good story. Really good story. And just the contrast, isn't there, with the alternative world where the dictator is, I think he was the head of the electronics department or something. He was a BBC staffer anyway. I don't know who it was. The guy they've got on the wall as the picture of the dictator was the head of the models department or something like that. He was just a BBC guy who worked in the special effects department. He's like the dictator guy. It's really funny. Oh, and the different language they came up with. I mean, how cool was that?
Yeah.
Here's a 70s TV show with a limited budget. They go to the effort to have the phonetic alphabet on everything. It's, you know, they're creating a world. That's what I liked about it. They created a world. They didn't just put an eye patch on the brig and shave his moustache off. They created a world.
Yeah.
So it's got a different language with a different government. You know, Liz was interested in science but couldn't pursue it. So this dictatorship has been in place since before the war. Presumably we didn't fight in the Second World War. We teamed up with the Nazis. So this woman was born, the early 40s. All she's known is that dictatorship. So she never got to pursue her excellence at science. So it's a real indictment of extreme politics because people don't get to achieve their potential in situations like that. No, she gets to be a grubby little policewoman
Yeah.
and bully people about in a big leather coat. Now, some men pay some good money for that, but that's not my kind of gig.
Yeah, true. But again, her character is interesting because, you know, the doctor tries to explain, as you know yourself, tries to explain, well, the other version of you basically is a scientist because obviously the parallel universe version of that Liz Shaw wanted to become a scientist, I think, or she was interested in science, but as you said yourself, this whole dictatorship thing, that probably teamed up with the Nazi sort of thing, so she wasn't able to realize her dreams.
Yeah. And, and as I said before, with my background, with my religion, there were certain professions you couldn't do. You were certainly not encouraged to go to university as part of that faith by the Jehovah's Witnesses. So it appealed to me coming out of it and watching this story, a what if? Here's this woman, she's enclosed in this very, very severe, austere government. Oh, you're not going to do science. We're going to get you to be a little policewoman and snitch on people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this woman's potential was never achieved. That really struck me as someone who could potentially, I had to leave and then go to university. I wouldn't have been able to stay in there and go and do what I did. So, as someone who's had that particular experience, it was really interesting because, here's this woman who's a genius. She's got multiple degrees. She's a medical doctor. She's a physicist. She's a chemist. She's a this and that. She works at Cambridge. And here's this one, she can't do that in the alternative world. She's just a policewoman, effectively. It's really, really good story. It's a good choice. And the doctor comes out of that, and I think it really does shake him. Like one of your previous callers said, I think it was Paul, wasn't it, saying, The Mind Robber, which is also written by Horton. That's what the machine plucks from his mind and tries to kill him with, is those flames. He's seeing these people, the whole planet just splitting in half. Really shakes the doctor, and I think he goes, wow, actually, I can get away and still be good to these people. You know what I mean? I can fix the TARDIS and help and appreciate these people. And you see him mellow, and his relationship with the Brigadier really develops nicely throughout that first series as well, because I think it dawns on the Doctor that he's really very much appreciated and respected by the Brigadier, and that comes through time after time when the Brigadier will butt heads with the government, butt heads with Geneva on his behalf. Just because the Doctor says to do something, collect up those daffodils, Brigadier. Do you realise, Doctor, that it's going to take me? Just go and do it, and he'll go off and he'll go and do it. His reputation's on the line. Imagine phoning up the minister and saying, there's plastic daffodils. This is Terror of the Autumn. I know I'm going off, but, can you, there's plastic daffodils. Can you collect them up, please? Some guy with a blue font haircut told me to.
Gamer 50 actually told us, because you brought up the stunt there, and I just thought because it was relevant to what you were saying. So that free fall stunt record was held for 2 years.
Wow.
So there you go. Thank you for that, Gamer 50.
No, mental. Yeah, so I think should we move on to Pyramids of Mars?
Yeah, walk away.
How long have I got?
You've got exactly 10 minutes.
Perfect. Look at that. Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's move on to Pyramids of Mars. So opening scene, we have the Doctor chafing at the bit of being that character that we saw develop in the Inferno. This guy who appreciates the brig and realizes that he's helping the world, but he's helped the world loads of times by this point, and it's almost getting to something's a bit weird. I'll get that unit guy in. You know what I mean? It can almost like someone's got a slight limp in Lewisham. Quick, get the Doctor in. And I think he starts getting a bit fed up with it.
Yeah. He does. He gets annoyed, sir, because I don't know I forget which story it is, but I know that the Brigadier needs his help or something, and he's like, no, I'm going to go off and do my own thing now. I'm not going to be a little lapdog for you. But you but you are right. You do actually see even his relationship, as you said, with the Brigadier. You can actually see the development of that throughout that first series. So at first he'd be like refusing to do jobs, but then by the end, then he's willing to help. He just, there's never any complaints. He'll do what needs to be done.
Yeah, and also he warms to people like Benton and Mike Yates as well, doesn't he? Later on, when they come on stream, because in the first series he doesn't have Mike Yates, and you've got sort of Corporal Benton lurking about in the background. So it's really with Katie Manning in the second series that the underlings, as they were, the lower ranks, as it were, he gets on with. But that relationship with the Brigadier really does develop nicely, because you really get the sense that the Brigadier utterly respects this man. I mean, he's saved his bacon, he saved the planet, and he knows that he's done that.
Yeah. So you can even see it in some of the episodes, though, when the Doctor decides to go off on his own. Like the Brigadier be like, "Where are you going, Doctor?" And he'd be like, "I'm whatever." Like, but he won't argue with him anymore. Whereas the Brig, he used to argue with him because he'd be like, "Well, I need you here," but then he knows that he's going off to do something and he's helping. So again, as I said, that's probably one of the. I think that's personally speaking. I think that relationship between the Brigadier and the Doctor is one to be savoured, because the stories and the character developments of both characters and what they went through together is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And so here we are in Pyramids of Mars. The Doctor's chafing at the bit. I don't want to be going back all the time to, it's not my home. That's not my home. It was my home during my previous incarnation, yes. But this incarnation, I'm footloose and fancy free. I've got a working TARDIS, and I'm off.
Yeah.
And so, but he's still under the leash of the Time Lords. And I was wondering in this story, Pyramids of Mars, here's a controversial idea that the fans out there might like. I wonder if the Time Lords send him to fix Sutekh. Plausible deniability. If he fails, no skin off the Time Lord's nose, but they must know that there's an Osiris lurking about on the planet. Surely their Time Lord files seem to be pretty, extensive, because the Master's always bragging about going and nicking them all.
Well, you do make a valid point, because the time file. But you're right. You do make a valid point, though, because in Genesis they basically. Tom Baker's Doctor shows up bloody on Scarrow, and he doesn't even know where he is at first. And then the Time Lord appears to him and says, "Well, you're already here." You know what I mean? Because he says Scarrow, and he goes, "Tell me more." And then but you're already here and stuff. So I agree with. I thought it might be controversial, but you probably do have a point. The Time Lords have actually directed the Doctor where he needs to be. It is controversial, all right, because obviously, he was given his freedom by the Time Lords. So, but they could have been still sending them to these places. I don't think it's controversial at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's an interesting idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because here's a being that can destroy the Time Lords. It's another Omega, isn't it? How do they fix Omega? Or the Doctor's the last man standing in that case, but he's got a form in dealing with things that are more powerful than they are. Let's put it that way. And there's one thing that terrifies a Time Lord, is that something's more powerful than he is, because they've had billions of years of power and opulence and arrogance. And here's this being, they're an insect to him. He laughs at the Doctor. "Oh, you're going to pick on me. You're going to try and take me on, are you?" He's just laughing at it.
Yeah.
He thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
So, but can you imagine, a rank and file Time Lord going out and dealing with him? Send the Doctor to do it. Have the TARDIS glitch up. They had access to his TARDIS. Remember when they sentenced him to Earth? Maybe they left a little circuit in there.
Well, in fairness, they did give him the new rematerialization circuit, or whatever it was called, So they could have
Yeah.
actually, as you said, put safeguards in place. You know, if they needed him, he'd be there.
Yeah, and also, but here's another idea. You know, the TARDIS is a sentient living thing, and the TARDIS may have discovered by herself that this siren survived and decided to take the Doctor there. 'Cause that's the sort of thing the TARDIS would do as well. I mean, a lot of fans don't consider the TARDIS as alive and as a character, but I always do. I think of her as a character. She's in every story, mostly, but you know, she's got a will of her own. She wants to see the universe. She's got sensors and a way to identify things that the Doctor doesn't even consider. So maybe she took him there, thinking, "Oh, this is a bad one. The Doctor had better sort this one out." You know, it's always a nice thing to think about because you know the TARDIS is sentient. She's a living thing. You know, he refers to her as the old girl and as she all the time as a living thing. And that comes up in the classic stories quite a lot. Like when the Doctor sends the telepathic, I think it's to Sarah Jane in Death to the Daleks. You know, she's a living thing. It's not a tick. There's not a whir. So maybe so. It's a great story though.
Well, whose doctor said it? I forget. Someone can tell me in the comments. Whose doctor actually said, "Well, the TARDIS mightn't take me where I want to go, but will take me where I need to be." Was that David? Was it David Hind that said that? Or
No,
was it
what you're thinking of is when it's the Neil Gaiman story when Matt Smith's Doctor.
That's
She
right.
talks to the TARDIS.
That's right.
He never took me where I wanted to go. He says to her.
That's
I
right.
took you where you needed to go.
Yeah.
Which isn't strictly true, by the way. She's being a bit disingenuous there, the TARDIS. For example, when Katerina got killed, was she there to take it? No. When Edric was killed, was she able to move? No. So,
there, Matthew Pounder made a great point there. The Time Lords control the TARDIS in the brain of Morbius. It's possible. Yeah, of
yes,
course.
because the Doctor sulks at the beginning of that. Says, "Oh, here we go again. Here's another bloody mission. Well, I'm just going to sit here and not do anything for you."
And then
it's a big strop.
Paul adds, the TARDIS has become a plot device. We used to go several stories without ever seeing the inside of the TARDIS. It's created lazy writing. Again, I would agree with you on that one, Paul, as well. That's a very good point.
Well, the thing is, they've spent such a lot of money on that TARDIS interior.
Yeah.
They better bloody feature it, hadn't they?
I agree.
You know, whereas in the classic series, I mean, for John Pertwee's stories, he had a photographic black and white picture of the Roundels on one wall.
Yeah.
And he has, you know, a tatty old bit of cardboard on the other bit and a green console.
It's a brilliant man.
So they didn't want them in the TARDIS. They wanted them out the TARDIS and getting on with the plot so they can get locked up. But that's a really good point, though, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's because they spent so much time and money on that interior for the new show. But going back to Pyramids of Mars, so we've got a truculent Doctor. Some, maybe the TARDIS, maybe the Time Lords, maybe just because the TARDIS is, a bit wonky, lands in this alternate time, and what are they dealing with? Someone who's more powerful than the Time Lord, someone who's not eternal. Luckily, that's the twist at the end. But and the Doctor's scared. You know, here's Tom Baker, who we've seen be grumpy, we've seen him be childish, we've seen him be just ebullient. But this is I think the first time that you see him actually scared.
Yeah.
And it's a great, great story. But I was thinking, what else was I going to say about it? Oh, I've forgotten. Oh, I'll put it in the comments if I can remember. But there's some great stuff in those stories.
Yeah.
There really is.
I agree. Listen, I
remember what it was.
Go on.
One last point. Yeah, when Sarah Jane says to Marcus, "Oh, I'm from 1980," that completely throws out all the unit stories.
Yeah.
You can no longer date them properly because of that one comment by Sarah Jane Smith. Thank you very much, Sarah Jane, for ruining my entire life by not allowing the stories to line up properly. I hope she's satisfied.
And with that,
nice chat.
Yeah, I was just going to say we've run out of time. And on that point, mate, thanks again for calling in. I really appreciate. I'm actually really enjoying your call. So again, we're doing this again on Sunday. So if you would like to come on again Sunday and discuss the next two stories that we're going to be discussing, you're more than welcome.
Okay, so it's going to be the three doctors, and what's the other one?
It's going to be the five doctors.
Sorry,
there
the
it is
five
there.
doctors, sorry.
And Genesis of the Daleks.
Oh, yes.
Right now, as you cannot see, I'm actually starting off with probably the most popular stories from the classic era. But the art, I do agree, Extra Spice, Mikey, the are two bangers, all right. They are. And we will be discussing these on Sunday. So go, folks, go and watch these stories whenever you can. You have a day and a half. As I said, take down a few notes if there's something that you would actually like to ask people in the live comments. If there's anything that didn't make sense to you or anything, or there's something you liked, didn't like, you have seen what's happened tonight. So just take his notes and stuff like that. Listen, Rick, thanks for coming on. I really, really appreciate it, my friend.
It's been a pleasure as ever, and I really enjoy coming on today. Hopefully we'll have a chat on Sunday. That'd be nice.
No problem. As I said, if you want to call in on Sunday, you just let me know and I'll put you down on the list. No problem at all.
All right then. Good night, everybody. Have a great night, and hopefully see you guys Sunday. Bye
Right.
now.
I'll see you later.
Teddy.
See you. Good night. Good night. Everybody says good night to Teddy. Okay, and that is the last call of the evening. So let's recap. So Sunday, 5 Doctors and Genesis of the Daleks will be the episodes that we will be discussing. So as I said, guys, go and watch their classic episodes. Now, obviously, I've seen some people make a few suggestions in the actual live chat. Don't make any suggestions in the live chat. Do me a favor, guys, right? As soon as this stream ends, right, the comment section will come up. The normal comment section where you would normally reply when I do a slideshow video. Go to that comment section. Give me both your ratings for Inferno and Pyramids of Mars from tonight's stream, okay? And if I have your permission to actually use to put you up on the video, the user rating, put beside it, you have permission to put you up, right? And we'll do the same thing Sunday with those two great stories there. Listen, I hope you have enjoyed this stream. I've actually really, really enjoyed tonight. I think it's been probably one of the best live streams that we've probably had in a while here, because there has been no drama. It's been nice and relaxed. And as I said, don't worry for folks that have only subscribed to me, because I've been breaking Doctor Who news. I will be still continuing to do that. But I want to look at there's a lot of classic Who to talk about, and I'm hoping that people that haven't seen it, get drawn to this channel and like what we're saying, and actually encourages people to go and watch classic Who. So this is my whole point of this, and it gives a nice relaxing setting for everybody, and everybody can enjoy themselves, because I've certainly enjoyed myself, and I have to say I've enjoyed every single call. Every single one of you has made fantastic points. And if there's any new people out there that are in the live chat that haven't rang in before, that feel like they might want to ring in now because we're talking about classic Who, you are more than welcome. Just let me know on the night of the live stream when I put the live chat up, okay? As soon as I put the live chat up, right, on all the platforms that I put it up on, right, send me a message on Messenger to say you want to come on tonight. The earlier you tell me, the better, to be quite honest with you. So, listen, good night, God bless. I'll talk to you all very soon. Don't forget, 5 Doctors and Genesis of the Daleks. So, I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions on them. And, yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Good night, And as I said, I will see you on Sunday.